All right, post-game show. Terry Ford, it's Brews Day. Ryan Brewer in the house. We got Kale punching the buttons. I'm forgetting something, Ryan. Well, you, me, Kale. Is that it, dude? We got anything?
I think that's it, man.
Is that it? I can't think of anything else. We got us. We're going to talk about the game.
Get our ears right here.
You got the beer. You brought the man. You brought the beer. Oh, see, Kale. I can't think of anything else on the top of my head that we're missing.
I would have said something about that, but I'm not going to.
Phillips.
I would have said something. I would have made a top of the head joke, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
Just sneaking up on us.
Wait, hold on.
My mama taught me better than that.
Let me add this up. Let me think here. Well, let's see. Brewer's got hair, kinda.
Yeah.
Kale still has his
hair. I have hair, man.
Kale still has hair.
I figured out how to turn on the mic, too.
Wait a minute. There's one guy here without hair. I know.
Yeah. Not without.
Yeah, not much.
Not without.
If we're doing hair competition, I'm a distant fourth in this thing.
Okay.
Just saying.
Star pinch drop.
Yes, right.
Heads of hair. You, me, and Ryan.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man.
I'm hanging in there. I would rather be there. Again, following the advice, as I told Terry yesterday, Brew, following the advice of people who have a lot of letters at the end of their name. So, like that stand for things.
Like JR.
So, not just.
And
I was thinking more MD. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know if my doctor is a junior, senior, the third. I'm not sure. I didn't. I'll ask him. I have to see him again on Friday. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Feeling better, and again, abundance of precaution as I am told. And again, next week I'll be out a couple days as we kind of get this ball really rolling. But I'm feeling good, and I want to once again thank everybody who continues to reach out. It means the world to my family and me, and I mean that quite sincerely. So thank you.
Oh man, we're just hanging there, man. We'll get you back in here soon.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Onward and upward.
That's right.
Again, I'm very positive about where we're headed. It's going to take a little while, but hey, that's.
We'll get you back in here, and it's going to be, you have a long drive to come back when you do get back here.
That's right. Yes.
That's a long way from your place to here.
That's right. I might have you send the 107.5 golf cart to come pick me up every once in a while.
All right, all right, Brew. We saw what happened at Oxford. It was kind of hopeful in the beginning. Then all of a sudden, hopeful again, start of the third quarter. It's a one-score game, and then you look up, and all of a sudden, it's not anymore. You were there.
I was there.
Matter of fact, give me your thoughts from Oxford.
Let's go Friday night. I want to be a bar owner in Oxford is what I want to be. I don't know if either one of you have been there.
Never been,
all three of you have been there or not, but they have cover charges.
Really?
And not because there's a band there, just because they don't have a lot of bars, and it's not a lot, and so it starts at $40 low end.
No. What?
It got up
Seriously?
to $80 while I was there. It got one bar $120 to just walk in.
And then you have to buy beer?
Then you have to buy beer. And it was packed. I'm talking like, we started counting heads. I was like, low end, there's $40,000 in cash in that guy's hand right now.
Yeah.
So did you roll them?
I thought about it. Just think about that for a second. It was just shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, packed with college kids.
That's insane.
And then us old folks. In there. If you go early, you can get a wristband for later in the night for $40.
How good was the beer? If I'm paying that much money, I better be getting the greatest beer ever.
It was your normal beer. Now they did have some liquor drinks and some frozen cocktails that were pretty, interesting. But it was. I just thought I was like, I need to. He is the richest people in Oxford are the bar owners there. I believe. The basketball coach, the men's basketball coach, lives in the pool house of one of the bar owners. That's at least the rumor they were saying there. I don't know if there's any validity to that or not, but I am going with it, and that's what I think is happening. That's how loaded they are. But after that, the Grove was it's worth seeing.
I bet you the Grove was cool.
All the tents, back to back. It was cool to be able to mingle and with both the fan bases and weave in and out of the tents there and have a good time and watch some really good football games early on too. Close games and some
Yeah.
So that was actually exciting there. That was all that, and then the stadium itself was a little underwhelming.
Yeah,
The loudest part of the stadium is the PA announcer when he's yelling what down it is and then piping in the band's music.
So the vibe wasn't like an intense road.
Willie B kicks the crap out of whatever that stadium's name is. I don't even know. That's how bad
Vaught
it was.
Hemingway or
It
whatever.
didn't even matter.
Vaught Hemingway.
And let me tell
I've
you
heard
what,
that before, though, that people think it's not very difficult to go. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's the least intimidating road environment. I guess that used to be Vanderbilt.
Well,
Maybe it still is.
Too nice. Is that the problem? Not enough.
They are, and it's look. I could have gone in there, and I wouldn't have with a flamethrower, and they wouldn't have done anything about it. There's no security. I walked. I was like, "What is going on? Did they even check my ticket like to get in here? Like it was nothing. No metal detectors. No security." I was like, "I am going to a high school game." Where that's what I felt like I was going into.
Oh, that's wild.
So, but
not a very intimidating atmosphere.
not at all. But the colors are nice. I do like the colors.
Yeah, the colors good.
At least that's what I heard.
All right, so once they kick this thing off, what are your thoughts, man?
Football wasn't the best. Again, we made it ugly. I think defense did what they're supposed to do, made it ugly as possible for a team that's, again, another top 10 team that's has a chance to be in the playoffs and highly touted. I think they disrupted the quarterback. He did not look great. Their running back went off the crap. He was breaking tackles. I was like, oh, this is Missouri all over again.
Lacey can play, man.
But he was running hard and mean and aggressive. But we just felt flat, felt off on offense again. And I don't even play calling. I'm talking about players themselves. I think Sellers is going to be the first one to say that worst game of his career type deal when it comes to things that he's missing throws and situations there that could have been game changers. And that's when you are the leader and the guy that touches the ball every down, you got to make those plays and you keep us in there. But it was just again, hats off to what they did. Defense did until last drive or so. A couple drives there, they were battling and they weren't giving up. Even sideline can tell they're getting frustrated going after it. But it was just frustrating on that and dropping punts. Both teams dropping punts. I wanted to go out there and look in the sky and see if something going on. Like there's no lights. This isn't a dome or anything. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it was too dark. I don't know what it was. But just little things like that just started aggravating. But all in all, the experience was fine. The game was not at the end. Again, very entertained until the fourth quarter. And I still was entertained then. I still, how I am. I'm still going, we're going to come back. It's going to happen. I was hoping for special teams or defensive return, but still sitting there on chance saying, hey, we're still battling. We're in it to the fourth quarter type deal. We just got to find a way to finish game again. And here we are, the situation with an OC gone, and everybody's got to look at themselves and say, all right, what are we doing? How we can get better? And is a bye week and is a great time for it or not? I don't know. Sometimes you want to rip the Band-Aid off and go right back at it. Now they got to sit there and lick these wounds for a little while, and this may be too long to sit there and let it fester.
Ryan, you touched on it a second ago. Well, you did, kind of indirectly, but I want to take you directly to it because you mentioned that maybe the offense was just kind of flat. Yesterday, I posed this question to Terry. You don't want to celebrate the firing of a staff member, but do you believe that this is the kind of move that not only changes the offensive philosophy, but that maybe adds a little spark, that maybe the guys were feeling like this is simply not us in terms of what we're being asked to do or how we're being asked to do it. It's not us. Can this provide a moment of positivity despite the fact that someone you've worked closely with has lost his job?
Jay, that's a tough one because you hope so. You hope that at least these guys will say, all right, now that we got something here. But that's an excuse that you're looking back and say it's his fault. Everything was his fault. You look at the film, you watch that game, it wasn't. Drop balls, bad passes, bad reads, missed blocks. I mean, that's on coaching. It can be, but these guys are college athletes making a lot of money now too. Yeah. First deep ball. And Harbor had a great catch. He's running past people, but he drops the ball, and there's nothing more to it. Overthrows and stuff like that. That's not on Shula. It isn't. But so you can say, man, things are going to change, but you gotta do better yourself as an offensive player. If you're out there. Shula's not blocking. He's not putting his head down and missing low-laying guys. That's not on him. So now it's time. Maybe the only thing that could be positive is, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's have a little more fun with this offense. Let's go. Let's put some more not gadget plays, but let's get outside. Maybe run some things that create some opportunities where we aren't missing these blocks. Or I get you into Sellers into a moving pockets where I can see the field a little bit better, where I'm not trying to make you have 3 reads, I only have 2 reads. But there was some play calls in that game where he did like a half turn again and went across the field. Great play call, and just overthrew. Oh, who was it at that time? I can't remember which one it was, but overthrew a guy for about like 8 yards.
Is that Jacobs?
Might have been Jacobs on that.
I think it was Jacobs on that.
I mean,
throw.
it's just there was plays that I was like, wow, okay, that was new, a little wrinkle, and I liked it, and then we miss. So I get what you're saying, Jade. I hope there's somewhere in the locker room something had to be done, and I'm still saying, I think Shane had to make this move. But to get the fire in there is now who's going to be the guy, calling plays, and do we trust him? And is it now we got to have a little bit of fun with it? Because right now you have 3 games left to try to salvage a season. You're not trying to save it, trying to salvage it. Maybe go to a bowl game, and hopefully you go through and maybe upset a team that's trying to make it to the playoffs. That's right now you're trying to play upset.
Now, I know this isn't. I'm not asking about you because I know you. You don't care who the OC is, who the head coach is. You're going out there and play and bust your hump because you hate everybody.
Yes.
And we've established this fact of your massive hate for everyone when you cross the lines. So this isn't about, like, you particularly. But, and to what Jay was saying, is there when you're struggling, like this offense has all year, right? And so much was expected and so little has come out of it. And there's so much heat and smoke and noise about the offense and the coordinator and all these things. Is it sometimes where you just get, like almost like when you go through a bad relationship, the next person is just great because they're not the last person. You're just happy because you're in a different situation. I mean, because most women feel like that when after they leave me. That's why I'm saying it. But could that be, again, not about you, but about some players? Could that be just the, oh my God, that's a breath of fresh air, or like you said, just go out there and make the damn plays?
I can see it both ways. As an athlete, as a guy that I can only control my own destiny, it's go out there and make your own damn plays. But let's flip it to like a business. And if you have a bad employee or you have someone that brings the morale down around everybody, once they're gone, everyone's like, all of a sudden you see production go up. Well, so why didn't you do that before? I don't know. I was just mentally wasn't there. Or I wasn't, something wasn't right because of so-and-so wasn't doing his job. So I didn't want to do my job. And I think that's horrible. Always do your job to your fullest potential. But all of a sudden you get rid of that bad taste, to get rid of that, the low liar, and then all of a sudden everyone starts building up. So that could be, at least in business wise, that does happen. You see it all the time. But those are usually not, I don't know, even in my business, the guys aren't, say professional, like these guys are professionals now. And these guys are making a ton of money where I don't care what the guy's doing next to me. I got to earn my paycheck.
Right.
So that's where that's what kills me out of all of this. And it's like, because yes, everyone has to earn their paycheck right now. So maybe someone comes in, at least likes to fire up under them a little bit and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're really good at X, Y, and Z here. Even the plays that we've been banging our heads against the wall because they've been banging their head up and run the ball up the middle. Some of those plays actually worked this week. It was weird. I was like, what's going on? All of a sudden, Faison got loose a couple of times, ran up there. We got some third down conversions and short yardage and things like that happened. But I was hoping for a little spark. Maybe that you're fighting for your coach type deal, even if it's not Shula, you're fighting for Beamer, you're fighting for whoever, but fight for your damn self. Fight for if you want to be in the league, you got to get good tape. You got to show them that you can do. If you want to make more NIL money, you got to show this here. That even if it's here, if you want to go play somewhere else, I'm not saying you need to do that, but I'm saying you got to have good tape. You got to show it flashes that out on the field. So there's all sorts of things you can battle for and to motivate you to play better. And it's time to show it.
All right, we'll get back in here. It's Brews Day. You're talking about what happened in Oxford on Saturday. Also moving forward, as there will be a new offensive coordinator, and we have interim guys right now, and we'll get into that. We got Jay, we got Kale, we got Ryan, Terry Ford. We are rolling the postgame show, a Brews Day here on the game.
Yeah. Yes, sir. right, tonight the first college football rankings that really matter come out, which means we're getting that much closer to the college football playoffs, which means we're then getting close to the pro football playoffs, and that means it's also time for the holidays. It's also time for you to watch it all better with integrated media. 803-948-8327. Now is a fantastic time to get the integrated media guys in. If you've been hoping, wanting, dreaming about a brand new home theater system, get the guys in now ahead of the rush. They make house calls just like the big guy does next month. That's right. They come in, walk around with you, one room, whole house, indoors, outdoors, Wi-Fi that works everywhere. Maybe Santa's going to bring you some new gaming systems. Got to have that streaming going full bore. They can get it done for you no matter what you want when it comes to home theater and so much more. Nobody better than Integrated Media. 803-948-8327. Call Integrated Media.
All right, tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. The men get it rolling. Carolina Hoops against NC Central. Derek Scott on the call. By the way, a guy named Derek Scott will be hanging out with us at 5:15 here on the postgame show to get us ready for Lamont Paris's 4th season here at South Carolina. Women last night, to the surprise of no one, took out Grand Canyon
close
by about $1 million. We'll talk more about that later. But right now, we have a start bench drop on Brews Day. You ready? Because, he does these special for you on the Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, this one's not really.
That's it's every day.
No, it's Tuesday, Wednesday. We do them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We don't do them on Mondays and Fridays, but we do them in the middle of the week. It's not necessarily loaded toward Ryan, but it is. This one's loaded, and everybody will understand why. I forget exactly what it's called. It's a really long, fancy term, but like the Contemporary something Veterans Committee has put out its 8 potential Baseball Hall of Fame candidates, and they'll be decided over the next month.
Okay.
I think I have this right, Terry, off the top of my head, because I only have 3 of them for this. I think it's Bonds, Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando.
Well, we know who you're starting.
Right. So start bench drop these 3 in alphabetical order.
Okay.
All right. All right. I just picked. I picked. I picked 3.
Go ahead.
I thought about that. But I was like, that's it's that. I want to be sporting.
Now you can't put Murphy in here because there's zero objectivity here.
Oh no, I can, and I did.
I knew you.
So start bench drop these worthy candidates for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Go for it.
Don Mattingly. Dale Murphy. Gary Sheffield.
All right.
Those are the 3 I picked. I'm not saying I think Fernando deserves to be in. Dale Murphy, by the way, remains the only 2-time most valuable player of a league that is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, at least for those who are no longer active players. Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield. Dale Murphy, just again, I'm going to do this real quick, all right?
Did he play baseball?
I've never heard of this guy.
Did.
Who is this Dale Murphy?
7-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 5-time Gold Glover, 4-time Silver Slugger, won the Roberto Clemente Award in the National League in 1988, twice led the NL in home runs, twice led the NL in runs batted in. And by the way, he didn't lead those things in any of the same year. So home run leader, 84-85, RBI leader, 82-83. I mean, that's so there you go. Dude's got the resume.
Are you giving us the resume for Sheffield and Mattingly, too?
Yep.
I mean, are we getting those resumes?
Gary Sheffield. He didn't read anything right there.
No.
That was
Gary Sheffield. 9-time All-Star. Won a World Series with the Marlins. 5-time Silver Slugger, and was a 1-time batting champion. And then Don Mattingly, who, again, I honestly, if you had said, hey, and when did Don Mattingly get in the Hall of Fame? I'd have been like, I don't know, like 1998? I don't know.
Dude, that back injury killed his career. It's a shame.
Don Mattingly, 6-time All-Star, AL MVP in 85, 9-time Gold Glover, 3-time Silver Slugger, won the batting title in 84, RBI leader in the AL in 85. And he, along with Dale Murphy, has his number retired by, Murph number retired with the Braves and Mattingly with the Yanks.
Didn't the Yankees just retire? Isn't Murphy's number retired by everybody like Jackie Robinson?
No, it's not quite that much.
Okay, just checking.
Not quite that much.
Just checking on you.
Not saying it couldn't be. They should do that for Hank. All right? They should retire Hank's number. Maybe not the Murph. But anyway, so there you go. Mattingly, Murphy, Sheffield.
Nice.
So is this Mattingly before or after he shaved his sideburns?
Yeah, I thought I told you to trim those sideburns. You're off the team.
Because he didn't do very well in that league there because he didn't get it.
He did not in the.
I'm trying to think. Did Dale Murphy even make that team?
No, Murph didn't. No.
Yeah,
Strawberry.
Yeah, cut.
Strawberry.
I don't remember Sheffield being on there either. So.
No, Chef wasn't there.
Oh, Chef.
No.
Well, Sheffield had that.
Steve Sachs was on that team. Mike Sosha made the team. Wade Boggs was on that team. He was good.
But I mean, look, wait a minute.
Tony Gwynn was on that team?
Wait a minute. You have Mike Scioscia, and you don't have Murph?
Well, no, Mike Scioscia was on the Springfield, on the nuclear.
That's what I mean. I mean,
Isotopes. What were they?
yeah, I mean.
No, the Isotopes was the minor league team in town.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the minor league
softball
team.
team's name is.
They were just they were just the softball team.
Oh, they definitely had a team name.
They might have had a nickname, but they weren't the Isotopes. Now the Isotopes was the local team, but I think Mr. Burns also owned. Get me something on the aisles, Smithers. I don't want to be surrounded by them. Another one of my favorite Mr. Burns lines.
Oh man! All right, that's your start.
All right, let's not go from me talking about Dale Murphy into talking about the Simpsons, because otherwise we'll derail the entire program.
I just thought it was fun that Dale Murphy didn't even make the team.
Well, I think he was retired by then.
Yeah, he got cut.
He was retired by then.
Cut.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he tried to get Honus Wagner to play, so might as well try to get.
Well, Honus Wagner.
Right? Why not?
I'm afraid all those players have retired and passed on, sir. Well, then get me some living players.
Everyone listening that has not watched The Simpsons right now is like,
they're going, what the hell? I know. It's like, I know.
But those of you who have know how amazing an episode that was.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but Ken Griffey Jr. was probably the best outfielder on that particular team.
Yeah, Ozzie Smith still taking pictures of
Ozzie. That's right. That's right. All right, where were we?
Anyway.
Back to you.
Yeah, Bruce
back
Day.
to you, Ter.
Bruce Day. All right. Anyway, so all right, offensive coordinator change. Obviously, Mike Shula. This offense just hasn't looked right all year. Didn't look right in the Citrus Bowl. Just has not looked right under Shula. Just whatever you're doing, it wasn't happening. So now, moving forward, you're going to have two interim guys right now. We don't know who's calling plays, how this thing's going to set itself up with Mike Furry and obviously Sean Elliott. If you're a player and all this is going on at this point in the season, what do you think? Well, let's go with Ryan Brewer. Forget everybody else. Now we'll go back to you, because I threw you out the last one because I knew what you were going to say there. I know you have to do your job and focus on you, but when you've got this kind of change in the coordinator position, and you're on the offensive side of the ball, where's your head?
I don't know, man. It's really where my teammates' heads. What are we talking about in the locker room? Like when we're going out, when we're, where are they right now? Are we still being positive? Are we all kind of down? Like, man, this season's obviously we're down because the season we lost the game. Or do you have? It's hard to have that mindset, the old, memory of a goldfish type mindset when this is happening. When in the middle of a game, you have a bad play. The goal is don't let one play be make it two bad plays, right? But it's really tough when it's snowballing every game. You see the same thing over and over. So it's just where are their mindsets right now, and how do I fix this? And sometimes somebody overreach. They think they got to do more than they're supposed to, but you just got to go to work, and that's the hardest. It's got to go to work and try to find a way to motivate the guy next to you. You got to go to work and figure out, hey, we're still damn good athletes, but we have to prove it. Just as one, because you only have one snap, 6 seconds to prove that you're really good at something. Then you got to do it again. Mm-hmm. And that one, if you get smoked that play, you got to find a way to, all right, I got to erase that one and get better. The problem is it's been hit and miss all over the board. It hasn't been one standout right now that's just making plays offensively. That's like, hey, we have these weapons. We have this guy here and there. Even when we finally do, even Seller's brother, he comes out and he has some great play. Didn't get a catch. I don't know if he got maybe one look in the whole game. So it's like it's just guys are disappearing. So it's now, is that on me, or is that because they're not making play calls that you're isolating me to make a call? That's the biggest issue now too. If you watching film and you're saying, hey, I know we should have ran X, Y, and Z there in the film room, and we didn't. Okay, then we're fine. I think the players will be okay. If the players see that the play calling was not beneficial to everybody and they're all on the same page. Now, sometimes it's Coach Holtz used to do it all the time. He wanted everyone to hate him, so we all had a common goal, had a bonding. Mm-hmm. It was fine. Hey, as long as y'all have something in common. Y'all hate me. He was fine with that. So sometimes it's like, all right, so how do we come around, maybe turn this into positive? Say, hey, that, and it's a flat out lie, but that was our issue. That was the only issue we had, was the OC. So now we're going to be better. I mean, you got to find some kind of spin on it right now. But the same deal. If I'm going to work every day. I'm going to be the best I can every day, and that's all you can do.
All right, Bruce Day. We'll talk more Carolina football with former Gamecock Ryan Brewer. Jay will recite Simpsons episodes. We got that coming up here on the post-game show right here on the game. Post-game show as we roll Brews Day. Ryan Brewer in the house with us up until 4 o'clock here on the game. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford. Kale's here today punching up the buttons for us. Start, bench, drop in case anyone missed it. Real fast, what do you got there, friend?
Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, 3 of the 8 contemporary candidates for induction into the Hall of Fame next month. This is kind of I guess it's not the Veterans Committee because I think that's something different. I don't know how they do this, Terry. These are guys that are basically on their last breath.
Yep.
To get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's what it is. Remember, they put Harold Baines in a few years ago, which
Well, I don't want to begrudge anybody who does get in, but Harold Baines
should not be in the Hall of Fame.
I think Harold Baines played like 8 minutes in the field in his entire career.
We got to remember his knees were shot. He couldn't play the field. I mean, I don't look. Love Harold Baines. He's from Maryland, former Oriole and White Sox and all that. Dude, he's in the Hall of Very Good. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Just saying.
Yeah, but I just think, look, Bonds and Clemens, they got their baggage. Jeff Kent, I'm not so sure. I mean, he was,
Jeff Kent's got baggage. He was a jerk.
Well, yeah.
The guy in baseball.
The thing is, like, Kent and Bonds, on those really good Giant teams hated each other.
I told you the story of that. I knew a guy who covered him. Brian, you'll love this. Covered the Giants, and during that time, and Bonds had took up 3 lockers in the clubhouse, and so did Kent. And Bonds was not very well liked. But he was liked more than Kent. That's how unlikable Kent was. Is guys like Bonds more than Kent? Some of the guys. Crazy. And Bonds was an unlikable human being.
Was the 3 lockers because his head size kept getting bigger and
bigger and bigger.
Helmet?
And he grew that arm off his back.
He drank that stuff that Junior drank that caused whatever it was in the same episode we were talking about on The Simpsons. That's what Bonds did, man. And then Carlos Delgado, who I think was a solid ball player.
Good player, man.
And all these guys, I get it. Baseball, the writers, man, they're very picky about who gets in. But if Harold Baines gets in and some of these guys don't, I don't get it. So,
right.
But anyway, that's what it's about. But we'll know next month.
All right, real quick, since we got you here, Ryan Brewer, we got Barry. Barry's on hold on the AAA Heating and Air phone line. I want to ask you, sir, a question about Nick Harbor. Real quick. Barry, you got Ryan Brewer, my man. You're on the postgame show. Appreciate you calling. Go ahead and hit up Ryan.
All right, hope all you guys are doing all right today. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Barry, yourself?
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm from up north. I'm not a Yankee, but I'm from up north, and I want to let you know this. First of all, I've been following Carolina football a long time because I have relatives here in South Carolina. You are my favorite Carolina football player of all time.
Well, that means a lot. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean that, okay? And Jay will tell you, and Terry will tell you, I'm a sports guy. I know you play for Holtz, but in my opinion, you're supposed to touch the ball 12 to 15 times every game. That was always my opinion for all the years you played in college. 12 to 15 times minimum a game. You were a McCaffrey, okay? So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And now, as far as Harbor's going, now I know you didn't play wide receiver, but, we got a guy at 6'5", world-class speed, a track star. Been here 3 years. Let's say we're on the 10-yard line. Okay, we're in the red zone. Now, and they're talking about he started out defensive end last year, he was tight end in high school, and they're going to make a wide receiver. Okay, fine. Okay, why can't you teach this kid in 3 years to run 10 yards, turn around, and jump? That's not difficult to teach, is it, Ryan?
Yeah, there's a little more to it, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.
But, yeah, I mean, that's so they also got DBs that are world-class athletes coming across from them. So, 10 yards, stop. And you got to make these guys – the good thing is, with what Barry's saying, a hitch route, 10, 15 yards like that, the DBs, especially corners playing off, safeties, everyone's off of him right now because he's so fast. He should be able to get press on him where they're going to turn. If he chop his feet quick enough, turn around, it should be an easy. You saw Marvin Harrison Jr. do it so many times last night. That type of situation where 10, 15-yard hitch for a guy with that speed is great because all of a sudden now they got to come back to him. And then you go over the top with it. The problem is like Barry said, I love if I would have touched the ball 12, 15 times a game. I think Harbor's a guy that needs to touch the ball 10 times a game. So, but you can't be a deep ball every route. That's just it's exhausting. And when it comes to that, and it's just not open every time. So it has to have more in his repertoire. And I think you're starting to see that as the season was going. It just didn't happen this game, but most of the time, there were games where he was running starting to get some crisp routes, things like that.
That's what I was going to ask you, because he was so raw. We forget, he played tight end and edge in high school. This guy was not a wide receiver. I know you don't break down film and see all 22. You watch the game from the stands and then fight with people when by what, halftime, third quarter?
Yeah, I watched 22 after. That, so.
What did you see watching him run routes? Because you played running back, but you also played some receiver. What do you see regarding his route tree now that he's in his third year?
It's definitely has grown, and it's going to keep going like that. I'd like for him to be, we had a receiver, bigger guy out there that, and Brian Scott that could definitely not run as fast as Harbor, but he was awesome with, his body and boxing people out and using that, catching fades and catching balls with his hands, and just watching some film on some guys like that are in how to run routes crisp and how to get out of the break and come back to the ball like that. And that's things he's going to get better and better at just because he is an athlete and he's, but that's a progression. It's something if you haven't done your whole life, it's going to get hard. It's going to not come naturally to you. And if it does, that's great. But for a guy that big, that speed, doesn't have that choppy step. He's got that track star, long legs, and that's what you see. Even when his touchdown route, it's like he's not really running that fast. Oh yeah, he is. It doesn't look like it is.
I know.
But it's just those long legs, and he's just taking off. But that's great for those long routes. But when you're trying to run quick 10-yard hitch, that's tough for him. That's 2 steps. DB doesn't have to move really. He's like, so for him, he's got to be at least like a 15. That's I think where the route tree comes in trouble for some of these. When Shula's calling plays, it's like it's hard for him to get open in those shorter routes, like a slant stuff. He's not that quick burst. 2 steps, and I got a quick slant there.
It's short space stuff.
Short space stuff. Yeah, he's great when it's long distance or even a post, skinny post like that. But definitely, I'd like to see some. Get on their heels, quick steps, hitch, come back to the ball and catch them, and that's going to set up the fade as well. But I appreciate
how much of this, Ryan, it remains. Well, all right, let me rephrase this. Is it fair to say that there is failure in the lack of development of Nick Harbor thus far, or is it like Terry said and we've talked about that he's still learning a new? You can't call it a new position anymore. Where do you maybe blend the line between the job hasn't gotten done to the job is still attempting to be done? I know that's a weird way to ask it, but I suppose that's what we're kind of looking at with Harbor.
That's the hardest part right now is we can't pick on one player. Maybe you can go on Sellers a little bit because he has the ball in his hands every time, and if he makes a bad throw, you can say that's a bad throw. You can see that, right? You can see the reads and stuff, but we don't know what's being asked of them. That's why I think an OC's gone now. We don't know what's going on out there when it comes to the route running, the progressions. What kind of just is he the number one read versus 2 and all the things, or is he just clearing out space a lot because he is fast and you're hoping you don't know what's being asked of him. I have seen progression though, where his route running and how he's getting out of cuts a lot better than last year for sure, and even as the years progressed. But until the ball keeps getting thrown to him, and you see what's happening, it's hard to say. It really even if he's open in a situation, you don't know what would happen. The ball's in the air. I think that's when you have 2 throws to you in a game and you make one for a touchdown, and you drop the other one. You can't say, oh man, that was bad, but crap happens too. What I mean? Right. There's times, hell, I dropped one. It happens. So it's part of it. But I don't, Jay. I just don't know. I don't know enough to see. And if I was in practice every day watching how he's running, and I got to take Furry's word for it that he's getting a heck of a lot better, and it's every day, and I believe that.
All right, we'll get back in here. Brews Day with Ryan Brewer as we talk Carolina football on the postgame show. Terry Ford, Jay, Kale, Brew. We go till 6. Ryan's here till 4 on the game. All right, post-game show, Brews Day. Again, 6:30 tonight. Derek and Judge Manning on the call. The men get it going. Gamecocks against North Carolina Central. Again, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip here on the game. Post-game show, Kale's here punching the buttons. It's Brews Day. Jay, Terry, as we roll. Before we get to, first of all, your start bench drop and your final thoughts on the Gamecocks. The only reason you're really here, because you really don't like us much, is that you have a sponsor who pays you handsomely to be here. You want to talk about Ryan Brewer Fence?
I can. It's yeah. I walk in the door, and every time I go to the show, I'm like, hey, can we go ahead and get this sponsor going here so I can get out of here? Holy cow! Come on, Terry.
That's why we wait.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Wait till the last,
Hold
last
you
10
hostage
minutes every time.
We make you suffer, Brewer, for almost an hour.
Yeah, but seriously, Ryan Brewer Fence. So I've been doing this a passion of mine for 20 years with a great team I have. Roughly 40 plus, maybe 50 employees, putting fences in all over the great state of South Carolina, commercial and residential fence. Just go to ryanbrewer.net or go to any of our social media stuff and see what we can do for you. But definitely, with the season going, if you're going to get a new puppy, if you're going to get, or you want some wall art or stuff like that, we can take care of you. But like right now for pools and fences to secure your backyards, we're doing pretty daggone good. I'll be honest with you. The team I have right now putting in stuff is probably the best we've had, and since I've been doing it. And don't let them hear this, but yeah, they're kicking some butt out there. So, like you said, sometimes I got a new OC, and we got the guys are putting we've been good. And they just keep. I got guys who've been with me for a long time, and they keep getting better and better every year.
Now that you said this, they're going to come in tomorrow and say, "Boss, is this the best you've ever had? How about a little bit extra dough?"
That's why I said don't let them hear this. So
absolutely, nice work by you.
That's a battle. I got to watch what I say. So,
all right, your start bench drop, Jay. Throw out your start bench drop for today, my man. Sponsored by Carolina Honda Powerhouse.
That's right. Again, 3 of the 8 contemporary candidates for induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame announced I guess, yesterday. But Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield. And as I said on Twitter, there are no wrong answers to start, but there probably is a right answer.
Well, if I was doing this, I would go Mattingly, Sheffield, and then that other guy. That's what I would do. No, I love Dale Murphy. I do. I would start Dale Murphy. I go Mattingly and Sheffield. That's a tough one. But Mattingly was one of my favorites as well growing up. But Dale Murphy was definitely, he's definitely the guy that I'd watch all the time. It's tough. Even in Ohio, being a Reds fan, he's still someone you looked up to as a kid.
Well, look, Murphy was phenomenal. Mattingly. If Mattingly doesn't hurt his back and shave his sideburns, Mattingly will be a haul. Would have 3,000 hits, and God knows the numbers would have been sick with Mattingly. And Sheffield was a hitting machine.
Yeah,
that dude,
he could hit.
He was
they
scary.
all could, but that was.
He was scary.
I've often wondered if Sheffield, being such a nomadic player, actually held him back too.
Could have been.
He never. Where was Milwaukee? Maybe the longest place he played.
Milwaukee or Florida? Let me double check here with Chef. And by the way, not the nicest guy in the world either.
No, I remember when he was a Brave. I think there was a reason that maybe amongst other things. Because he made a lot of money, but he didn't last long in Atlanta. But he was good when he was in Atlanta. He was good everywhere he went.
Oh, he was ridiculous. He was. His number, I'm looking at the numbers now, are filthy. Just filthy numbers overall for Gary Sheffield. He played.
In my personal opinion, the reason I chose these 3, in all seriousness, for just a minute, is because I think of the 8. Look, again, Bonds and Clemens are different. So I really, of the 6, let me be fair. Of the 6 others, because Bonds and Clemens, their numbers certainly they're Hall of Fame worthy and then some, right? But they have their baggage. The other 6, I think these 3 are the best of them. That's 100%. Why
Sheffield.
Those 3 should get in. That's what There's, if it doesn't, like you said, that's gonna be crazy.
You sit here and look at this. He averaged 32 homers a season, and if you go by the new age of slash, his OPS is over 900 for his career.
Yeah. No, he should be in, man. He's
unreal. Yeah. And remember, he was a Little League World Series dude in Tampa with Gooden and all those guys, too. So even as a little kid, he was killing it.
That's how it works. That's usually how it works.
Yeah, anyway, right. All right, so before we let you get out of here, it's an off week. You come off that bad taste in your mouth against Ole Miss,
Yep.
and you've got all this stuff going on. If you're a player now, what's running through your head before you? First of all, you want to play a game real bad.
Like I said, I'm going back to what Barry said. I want to find a way to get me the ball 10 to 12 times if I'm offensive guy. Because
by the way,
and that's just me. But I was talking about everybody else. And, you're going to the point that like. These guys got to touch the ball.
That's
How do you get
okay.
out transfer
If there's
portal?
one
You gotta
guy,
think about
is Harbor the guy you want to get the ball to, or is there anybody else on this team you want to get the ball to more before we get out of here as the music is
Dingle.
playing?
I don't know. I like Dingle. But Harbor definitely. But you want to get to the guys as many times as possible and make them happy because this is a big time right now. You got to start keeping these guys on the team as well.
Hey, good hanging out with you like always,
All right,
brother.
guys.
All right, man. We'll see you
Thanks,
next Tuesday.
See you.
All right, we'll get back in here post-game show. We'll keep it going. Jay, Terry, Kale. Hour 2 coming up. Kreger Showrooms, formerly The Nest. We hang out there, did some tailgate shows. We always go around. Yeah, I like going there because I want to live there, and they won't let me. That's how awesome the showroom is at Kreger Showrooms in the Vista. It is, look, if you're looking to just, improve your home by new appliances, anything new in the kitchen, the bathroom, new plumbing, lighting, fixtures, you got to make this phone call, 803-978-2025. Graham and Nikki and the whole crew over at The Nest, our buddy Girthy Bryan, they will take care of what you need done at Kreger Showrooms. But you have to make that phone call, say what you're looking for. They'll put you in touch with one of the experts, over 70 years of experience at Kreger Showrooms. And then you just sit down, you talk about your goals, your vision, your budget, and they'll get it done for you the way you want it within your price range. 803-978-2025. It is Kreger Showrooms in the Vista. Give them a call. Go on over, look at the greatest showroom in the Midlands, Kreger Showrooms. Postgame show, hour 2. Jay Phillips, Kale, Terry Ford. We are going till 6. All right, Jay, we've got this college football playoff. Number 1, the college football playoff committee's poll will pop, what is it, 8 o'clock tonight, 7 o'clock? I lose track.
It's at 7
I think
o'clock.
it's 7.
All right, 7 o'clock. They'll keep us in suspense. Who do you think's going to be number 1, man?
It'll be Ohio State. I'd be surprised if not. I was looking at some of the numbers, though, and look, Ohio State's fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and dog them in any way. A&M, though, has like the number 1 strength of record and number 4 strength of schedule. I think Ohio State has like the number 4 strength of record, but their strength of schedule is down in the 60s. Mm-hmm. But you and I were talking as well. Indiana probably has the single most impressive win so far this season. The win at Oregon, followed very closely by A&M's win at Notre Dame, Alabama's win at Georgia. The road victories like that are just really, really important, I think, when the committee is trying to separate things. So I don't want it to sound like SEC bias. I don't come up with these metrics.
Right.
Lord knows, Terry, I don't like thank God we don't have to balance checkbooks anymore, but I don't want to do that kind of math, much less whatever the hell it takes to come up with, strength of record and all these other things that they're using now. But that said, it does point to the fact that the Southeastern Conference has a harder road in conference games than the Big Ten or the Big 12. And the Big 12, hey, they got a top 10 matchup this weekend when BYU visits Texas Tech, so I'm looking forward to that. But I think it's going to basically mirror what we see in this week's AP poll, at least the top 5. I think it'll be Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama, Georgia, in that order, which means Bama, is the last team, if it holds, that'll get here's the thing. Bama and Georgia right now aren't going to play for the SEC championship. So there's that to think about. A&M's doing what they're doing. I'm kind of waiting for that battered Aggie syndrome to kick in, and so far it has not. And
nope.
I'm not sure South Carolina is going to be the one to add to that next week. We'll find out. But I just wonder if they want to look at some metrics and be different. That's my only question. I doubt it, but should we be stunned if the committee looks at whatever else they want to look at and puts A&M at number 1? It doesn't matter that much anyway, Terry, because of where we are on the calendar.
Right, it's the first one.
Wouldn't surprise me. But I at least it wouldn't stun me. It might mildly surprise me. I do think Ohio State will be number 1.
Yeah, I'm guessing they will be too. Now, again, if I had a vote, which they won't let me, it's a whole legal thing. But if I had a vote, I'm voting A&M number 1 right now. Again, that could change. A&M could become A&M in November. We know how that goes. But right now, their body of work is better than Indiana's or Ohio State's. Now, Indiana has the best win, going to Eugene and beating Oregon, when Oregon was, number 3 in the country at the time, I believe, Jay?
Yeah.
But, look, that win at Notre Dame by Texas A&M is looking better and better because Notre Dame's been on a heater. They're now to number 10. And A&M's body of work, strength of record, strength of schedule, better than Indiana and Ohio State. So I would have A&M number 1 right now. And, of course, this thing can change a million ways. I would have Indiana 2 because that Oregon win is Ohio State's best win is against Texas. And that was at the Horseshoe in Columbus.
And at home, right.
So if I'm ranking the 3, and again, was it matter in the first one? It doesn't. But if I'm ranking the 3 for tonight, I'm going A&M, then Indiana, then Ohio State right now. And obviously this thing's going to flip upside down 20 ways by the time it's over.
Yeah, it will. And we've got some games this weekend even, like Oregon going to Iowa. I expect the Ducks to win. But again, to use the shock, surprise kind of linear way of thinking, if Iowa upsets Oregon, should we all go, oh, I didn't see that coming? Iowa's a solid 6-2. They're Iowa. I mean, they do what they do. They play defense. It's hard to win in their building. Indiana's going to Penn State. This is maybe the last chance for Penn State to salvage any kind of feeling about a season that's just gone completely opposite of where they expected it to be. So, again, I expect those road teams, Indiana and Oregon, to win their respective games. But I'm not going to be surprised if they don't. So, A&M's off this weekend. Or no, A&M's at Missouri this weekend.
Right.
I was going to say, never mind. Yeah, A&M's at Missouri.
That ain't going to be easy.
Hell, Terry.
That's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. And Georgia goes to State, who's feeling good about themselves. So, LSU is at Alabama. Bama's let me look here, 9.5-point favorite. But, yeah, again, if LSU goes to Tuscaloosa and wins, do we all go, no, I don't think we do. So, we expect the favorites to win those games, but we always expect the favorite to win those games, right?
To your point, I mean, I've lost count of, I don't remember how many times Iowa has given top 10 teams trouble in Kinnick Stadium. I mean, there's been games where obviously they've beaten top 10 opponents, but even when top 10 opponents have won there, it hasn't always been easy.
No, the thing.
It's never easy.
Here's the thing, guys, and I'm with you. I think, Oregon's got to be careful because I think Iowa can bore you to death, and all of a sudden you wake up and you've lost. But I saw it earlier in the year. Iowa hasn't beaten a top 10 team at home in a while. Why? Because they're allergic to the end zone. But they do make it tough. They make it difficult. And if we were doing this one in the wild card showdown, I might take Iowa in the points just because, again, they bore you to death. But they haven't gotten one of these wins in a while. So my point is, are they overdue to sneak one of these yawners where they beat you with defense and special teams and 5 offensive plays, and all of a sudden you're Oregon, you look up and go, how'd I lose? How did I lose that game? It could happen. Yeah. It could happen because that's a really difficultly weird place to play.
Speaking of bore you to death, do you even think Iowa knows or Iowa fans know what the shotgun formation is?
Yeah.
I mean, every time I watch them, they're lining up under center.
They've seen it on like 3rd and 21. They've seen it.
Yeah, they've had a lot of 3rd and 19s, yes.
Yeah.
But,
they've seen it.
I mean, yeah, so this thing is going to change 50 different ways. A&M could lose at Missouri easily. They've still got Texas. I mean, look, this thing's got a long way to go. Ohio State's road's cake, by the way. They've just got to get that Michigan. They got to get that Michigan Godzilla off their back. That's the only game they have, and I believe it's in Ann Arbor. I do think it's in Ann Arbor this year.
It is. It's not a cakewalk.
No, they're going to. That's going to be from the neck up, right, Jay? It is to the point now that if it's from the neck up with Ohio State as much as anything else, this Michigan thing.
Absolutely. They were 21-point favorites last year. Yeah, it's in Ann Arbor. That's a noon kick on the 29th. So, but yeah, until then, let's see. Ohio State. This weekend is not easy. They're Purdue's this weekend, but I was thinking of Oregon. Sorry, my bad. UCLA in Columbus, Rutgers in Columbus, and Michigan.
I really wish that Michigan-Ohio State game didn't have to be played at noon every year, because with Carolina and Clemson being played at noon, including this year and last year, I haven't really been able to watch it.
You'll be all right. He ain't missing that much.
Yeah.
Well, you would have said that last year, too.
Yep, I would have. But Carolina-Clemson was more important. But I get you. I'd love to watch them all at different times, but we can't.
I'll tell you, that game, because it's traditionally the noon kickoff there, and it's been there forever. But, I mean, really, for TV purposes, if you're Fox, don't you look at Ohio State, Michigan, and go, hey, Bob, how about a night game? Help a brother out. Give us a primetime game.
They don't want to. They don't want to.
They don't. Isn't that weird? Nobody wants to do that. In this world of maximizing viewership, nobody wants to put that game in prime time at all.
Yeah, I've never understood the big noon Saturday thing. Yeah, I always
that's the Big Ten, man. That's what the Big Ten wants.
The big game at night,
yeah. Well, because down here it's hot, so we just games are played at night. I mean. But up there, it's the opposite. They don't want to play at night half the year because it gets cold. So I get it, and look, as I've gotten older, and Cale, you'll feel this way one day. You'll begin to appreciate the day games more. I promise.
Dude, I love this type of weather.
Hey, right now.
Oh, I do too.
Hey, Jay, you're right though. When you're like in your early 20s, yeah.
Night game, man. No,
night game's
that's
awesome.
all about it. Yeah, that's all I wanted was night. I hated day games.
Oh,
Mainly because
yeah.
I didn't want to get up yet. I'm like,
Right.
I don't want to have to get there at noon. I don't get up till 10.
Well, usually on a Saturday after a Friday night, I don't want to get up for a noon kickoff. I'm just saying.
I learned early enough in college because you know what? Because one time I went to a game. I'm just gonna say that Friday night lasted too long, and I was like, you know what, man? Like I cut myself off for a large portion of my collegiate career on Friday game nights, home game nights, anyways.
Dang, you had
'Cause I was
to
like-
you had to withdraw from playing Monopoly with the boys.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we played Clue.
That's
We
see,
were more, yeah.
Well, for where I'm from, the highly intellectual area I'm from, we played Risk.
Oh, I love Risk. But yeah, so sometimes we play Risk. It's strategy games on Friday
right.
nights. But one time I was like, I'm not enjoying this game. I remember I was with my roommate. It was an East Carolina game. It was an East Carolina game, and Carolina got down early, and then came back and just rolled all over ECU. But I remember sitting in our seats that day, and we didn't have a great time. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say.
That's all I'm gonna say,
You're all
because I
gonna
think
throw.
we got home at like 3:30, like Saturday morning, and I was like, dude, and it was a day game. I was like, man, I don't think we should have done this.
Ugh.
Try getting home at
So we
6
didn't-
a.m.
We didn't do it anymore.
I've
We
come
didn't do
home
it
on
anymore.
Sunday after a Saturday game. It just back then, man, it was nothing. It was nothing. I would get up and go get my hangover remedy, a cola Slurpee from 7-Eleven and shotgun it, and I'm good to go. Back then,
I'm not as big a believer in the hair of the dog thing as some people say. Maybe that's just me and my constitution. I
me
don't
either,
know.
man. But my dad did that to me when I was young. I had one of those nights you have when you're young, and I came home and he found me in the living room floor asleep. And anyway, so the next afternoon when I woke up, he's like, "Hey, boy, you don't look like you feel too good." I don't feel good. Come on in here for a minute. I got something for you. I'm like, "Oh, good." He's got some Pepto. I walk in. He goes to the refrigerator, brings me a 16-ounce Old Milwaukee, drops it on the table. That's going to fix you up real good. Dude, I turned 30 different colors looking at that thing. He made me drink it. He made me drink it. And you know where I went after that? Back to the bathroom.
I believe-
Hair of the
I believe
dog.
it.
Hair of the dog.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, for some people, perhaps.
Not for me.
Not for me either,
for
man.
me. Oh, anyway.
All right, start bench drop. Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, 3 of 8 contemporary candidates. That's what they're calling them for the Baseball Hall of Fame. The announcement is early next month. Again, I'm not sure exactly who votes on this, if it's veterans or current members of the Hall or, Peter Gammons. I don't know. Somebody does. But we'll get into that. And speaking of that, Tara, on the other side, we won't dwell on it, but I do want to get a few more thoughts and maybe some reaction on the Braves' big news yesterday, too.
Oh, that's true, because the Braves now have a manager. We'll get to that as Walt Weiss has been named the manager of the Atlanta Braves. We'll get that coming up. 5:15, Derek Scott, by the way, getting you ready for Gamecock basketball. The men get it rolling tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia. Also our affiliate, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Walt Weiss, we will talk about the Braves' new manager next here on the postgame show. Kale's here, Jay, Terry. We roll till 6 on the game.
All right, if you're like me or our buddy Ben Cato and the staff at Cato's, you like to watch a lot of football, but you know you got to get the yard work done too. And as the leaves and pine straw are falling, how can you do it even quicker? Hey, you can use your mower, all right? Yeah, you can get a blower too. I'll tell you about that in a second. But your mower can really help you out. You can cut the grass, suck up all those leaves, mulch it up, and turn that into something very beneficial for your yard. And just in time for the fall, they are upgrading your Toro or Gravely mower with a new bag system or mulch kit, $75 off. And when you purchase that kit, it will be installed for free by the great techs at Cato's Power Equipment. Maybe you do want a brand new blower. The BR800X is now on sale from Steel, just $5.99. And also, if you're chopping a lot of wood, do it the right way with the Steel MS250 chainsaw, now just $3.79. Feel these products. Put them in your hand in the showroom, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard. Learn more right now at catospowerequipment.com.
Post-game show. As we run till 6, Kale's here punching the buttons. Jay, Terry. All right, so yesterday, and really we didn't get a chance to really focus on it because, well, there was a little thing called the letting go of the offensive coordinator at South Carolina and the Gamecocks losing at Ole Miss. But the Braves, made an announcement. Walt Weiss moves up to take the gig as the manager. And obviously, Jay, bench coaching. He's been with the organization now for almost 10 years, played in Atlanta, was the manager in Colorado. And you and I had this conversation when Snit first stepped down, Brian Snitker, the manager, that, you can't really hold Walt Weiss's one-loss record in Colorado, which is very underwhelming. You can't hold that against him because, again, it's the Colorado Rockies. Dysfunction is on the jersey. So, I said to you before, if you're hiring Walt Weiss, I don't think it's a bad hire at all because he understands the lay of the land because he's been so close to it and he probably learned a lot from Snit. He's been in one of the best organizations in baseball for a long time now. He's older than he was when he was the manager in Colorado. He's probably learned a hell of a lot. I don't think it's a bad hire at all. What do you think?
I like it. And I know some are maybe underwhelmed or think, oh, well, what took you a month to do that? And Alex Anthopoulos explained that today when they introduced Walt. In fact, before I come back to it, he said, quote, "It's important for us to get it right. It was a rare opportunity for us to really canvass the entire league, talk to as many people, and do as much background work as we could. And ultimately, that search came back to Walt, and I couldn't be more excited about his experience, his character, and his work ethic is exactly what we want here." And in that respect, Terry, I think when Snit stepped down, it felt like at least the leading candidates were people that were directly tied in some way to the Braves. And Walt Weiss was maybe that leading candidate, The Braves like to hire from within. The Braves, however people may think of this, whether you're a fan or not, the Braves have a way. And it's a proven system. It works. The Braves go to the playoffs far more often than they don't. In fact, I think I saw, maybe I got this wrong, I think the Braves, since Walt Weiss has been back in Atlanta as a bench coach, the Braves have been to the playoffs more times than the Rockies have ever been.
Right.
Just as an example of what you were talking about, kind of delineating between these franchises and what they stand for and how they go about their business. The Braves expect to make the playoffs. The Braves are built to make the playoffs. You'd like to think the Braves, as a fan, me talking now, were built to win the World Series. But that's much easier said than done. Ask the Yankees, right, who are, you would think, built to win the World Series, and they haven't done so now in, 15, 18 years, whatever
in
it is.
a while.
But I like this hire, and I think you pointed it out, man. You've worked under Brian Snitker for 8 seasons. During most of those years, you were also working alongside the great Ron Washington. Walt is now 61 years old. He knows the Braves as a player when they were at their at the height of their powers back in the late 90s. He knows the Braves as a coach. He knows what this organization is about. He knows these guys, the guys like him. He's been a trusted advisor to Snit throughout this entire run. So I totally get it. It was interesting to even think about the fact that they were looking outside the organization, because at first thought, I didn't think they were gonna. I really didn't. And so that they stuck with it ultimately inside is not at all a surprise. And not only that, but Walt Weiss has played, under Tony La Russa. He's played under Don Baylor, guys that have, taught a lot of people the right way to go about your business and win ball games. So he brings a tremendous, I think, wealth of experience into the role. But look, Terry, and I'm dead serious when I say this, and I told you this morning. Go fix the bullpen. It does matter who the manager is. It does. It does matter. But go fix the bullpen. And if you had a bullpen that had been what the Braves bullpen has been in the last 5 to 7 years this season, the Braves are approaching 90 wins this year. And that's considering all of the injuries to the rotation, to Ronald Acuna, to the time that Austin Riley spent out, to the time that Sean Murphy spent out, to the time that Ozzie Albies spent out twice this year. Jurickson Profar missing half the season because of taking a stupid PED from, God knows where, instead of just asking the trainers, or better yet, trying to just hide it from people. You think of all those things that factored into a bad Braves season. But if you just had a bullpen that was even slightly above average, again, you're looking at a win total in the mid-80s instead of where they were in the mid-70s. So I like this move, though. Overall, I think it's going to be solid for Atlanta. I really do.
Look, if it ain't broke, don't break it. And I just think it ain't broke. 7 straight trips to the playoffs until last year.
Yeah, got snapped, right? And 6 of those were division titles.
Yeah, I mean, look, they know what's up. Weiss has been sitting there, and he's watched Snit, and he's learned, and he's seen the right way to do things. And also, more importantly, he's had a chance to see the wrong way to do things, which was the Colorado Rockies. So, and sometimes you learn more from crappy experiences. So you take that, going with the positive of Atlanta, what he's learned, the experience, he's older. I think it's a good hire. Now, is it going to work? I don't know. I truly, out of all the sports, and we sit here and our job is always give our opinion. We're in the opinion business. But the one thing out of like football, baseball, and basketball, I'll stick with those 3. I truly have a tougher time when it comes to baseball managers. If someone says, do you think he's going to be any good? Here's what I think, but I truly don't know. Because so much of it, Jay, and I say it over and over again, is not managing the game, but how you manage people between games, right. How you manage the clubhouse, how you deal. The time that these guys spend together, starting in spring training and ending at the beginning of October or longer if you're in the postseason, is insane. You're playing 6 games a week, and you have to be able to manage off the field. So that's always the unknown in this stuff. Again, Weiss was a former player. Does that mean anything? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I like it. We'll see where it goes, but I think the Braves did the right thing by just keeping the continuity of what works and moving up Weiss, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, and like I said, they have a way, and I think back to early in Ronald Acuna's time in Atlanta, there was a minor incident of sorts in the clubhouse. No fights or anything, but just maybe Ronald wanting to be kind of young and brash, and Freddie Freeman had to kind of give him a talking to. And you mentioned earlier, we were talking about Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent, guys that got 3 lockers because they were who they were, or Sammy Sosa being able to play whatever music Sammy Sosa wanted, while the other 24 guys in the Cubs locker room had to just take it because Sammy had his big boom box. Bobby Cox would have gone into a locker room like that and kicked the boom box into a million pieces and told the guys, hey, we don't do that here. And that's what I'm talking about, and that's to your point too. That, and I'm not saying that the Braves are perfect or anything like that, but I know enough about them, and how they do things, and it's how Joe Torre managed the Yankee locker room. We're in this together, guys. We don't put one above another. Yeah, do we have a star player here or there that's better than you? Yep, we sure do. Every team does, but we don't treat them that way. We're in this thing for the long haul, and I think that's also part of what Walt has seen and taken to be able to do this. And like I said, man, seriously, right now, okay, cool. Walt, you're the manager, and we're going to figure out who your staff is in a couple of days. Go get a bullpen.
There you go.
Seriously, I'm dead serious.
I know,
go get a bullpen.
I know. And you know how this goes. They're the same group of guys you had in your pen, and this thing about screw about bullpens. You can have the best bullpen in baseball in 2025 and bring the same guys back in 2026 and have the worst bullpen in baseball. It's the most screwiest thing in the world is a bullpen. All right. We will pop back in here on the post-game show. Maybe continue. We got to get our start bench drop, reset that. Jay will for you.
I'll do that real quick for you. Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, 3 of the contemporary candidates for the Hall of Fame. Again, there is a right answer for starter.
The best thing is, what I love about this is you're just going to be so objective.
This is without question the most objective start bench drop in the history of start bench drop.
No doubt. No,
not even. I don't even know what the second most objective one was anymore. Probably had something to do with like pizza toppings.
Yeah, or like English Premier League soccer. Post game show. Jay, Terry, Cale here on the game. We talk a lot about the cabinets at CHW Cabinetry because, we talk about cabinets because the name of CHW Cabinetry has the word cabinetry in it. But Star and her crew also can help you out with other things like, wood countertops. Omega Cabinetry and countertops. Like the countertop, I'm looking at these countertops on chwcabinetry.com. Phenomenal. I would not want to eat off of one of these countertops. They're so pretty. I'd go outside. But that's the point. They have countertops. They have cabinetry, indoor, outdoor. Whatever you're looking for, you just give those folks a ring at CHW Cabinetry. You just call and you say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm interested in. And they will set it up. Photorealistic renderings of your progress from start to finish. 803-520-6837, 803-520-6837, CHW Cabinetry. Give them a ring. I'm listening to you. I haven't started recording yet. What's up? No, it's not. The one's out at the top.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, I just heard we have a new traffic jingle.
Yeah.
What happened to the Irish jig?
Yeah, it's gone. I had to put a generic in there, and I couldn't find the jig, so I just grabbed something else. Plus, I was sleepy. All right, let me see here.
Can't wait to listen to the traffic.
All right, quick check on the roads. We have some accidents, unfortunately. I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard, exit 113. West Columbia Meeting Street near 12th. Also, North Lake Drive near Corley Mills Road. Patricia Drive at Leesburg Road. US 176 Broad River Road near Greystone Boulevard and River Hill Circle. Quick check on the traffic. We have a few accidents to get to. US 176 Broad River Road near Greystone Boulevard, River Hill Circle. Patricia Drive near Leesburg Road. Also North Lake Drive near Corley Mill Road. Meeting Street near 12th Street in West Columbia. Another West Columbia accident reported. I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard, exit 113. Post-game show, we'll get back into it with Jay and Cale and Terry here on the game. All right, post-game show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford, Kale's here making sure we stay on the air as we roll up until 6. All right, Jay, get your start bench drop. Let's reset that real fast, my man. What you got?
Yeah, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, 3 guys of 8 that are up for induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame. This was announced yesterday. It's the contemporary ballot or something like that. I don't know. It's a long terminology for it. But there's 8 players: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela. And, again, Bonds and Clemens' numbers are obviously Hall of Fame worthy. It's how they maybe got to some of those numbers that people take issue with. And I don't know if they get in or not, man. They might. They and a lot of people think now, they probably will.
Yeah. It's, again, that's a whole show, right? That whole thing. But the sad part of those two, and I will say this, and I'm not as hardcore on the steroid stuff as others. I mean, obviously, put it this way, even though we all realized that it wasn't illegal in baseball. It was illegal in the world, by the way, but it wasn't illegal in baseball. And even though it wasn't, guys were still hiding what they were doing because they knew what they were doing wasn't what they should be doing. But that being said, the sad part of Bonds and Clemens, Jay, is they didn't have to do it. They were Hall of Famers before they started doing it. That's really the sad part of those two and their careers, is they didn't need to. They did it.
Right.
Bonds did it purely out of ego because he was jealous of McGwire and Sosa.
Yeah.
And that was it, because the guy was such a miserable human being. Even though he was arguably the best all-around player in the game, him and Griffey Jr., Bonds couldn't stand the fact that he wasn't getting all that love that McGwire and Sosa were. He said, okay, they can hit home runs, hold my beer, and give me some steroids. Watch this. Watch my neck grow in my head. But, Clemens he was starting to get older. And, he was getting out of the peak of his career, and he wanted to get himself back to what he was. So he was doing it for performance reasons, but Bonds was just purely ego, and neither one of them had to do it. That's the sad part. Speaking of it really quick, I want to throw this to you about Sheffield, because this is one of the major reasons he's not in the Hall of Fame, because he does have that Balco connection. Remember, he trained with Barry Bonds. He knew Balco founder Victor Conte, who, by the way, died today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. In his late 70s.
Sheffield stated that he used that cream. Remember, it was that cream and clear stuff, remember?
Flaxseed oil.
Yes. Purely natural, Jay, at the GNC. Sheffield stated he used the cream on his surgically scarred right leg to help it heal. He thought it was a legal cortisone or nutritional supplement. He maintains to this day he was unaware it was an illegal steroid. Now, there are other things out there that say, well, he was also doing some stuff. Like according to the Mitchell report, it said that there were drug calendars from Greg Anderson. Remember the great Greg Anderson, the trainer? Remember that dude?
Right.
Well, right. Greg Anderson had calendars for Sheffield that allegedly detailed Sheffield's use of HGH and testosterone. Sheffield has called it fabricated. He never tested dirty for anything of that ilk. He was just kind of implicated with Bonds and the Balco thing. That's one of the things that's kept Sheffield out of the Hall, because his offensive numbers are Hall of Fame worthy, like we talked about earlier.
Right, they are. And so again, how this particular group of voters, it's not the writers. No. How they want to look at these people and their gifts to the game, if you will be interesting. Look, I know I kid here, but I am very subjective when it comes to Dale Murphy, and I think, but that's why the 3 I picked, I thought were maybe the most worthy. I'd love to see Fernando get in. I know Fernando and Dale Murphy, Don Mattingly, they're all kind of the same in that, it didn't go as long as Hall of Fame careers do. It just has to go longer, and you have to do more. But man, while they were doing it, they were amongst the very best. Fernando was such a great story, and it wasn't just the rookie year.
No.
He went. He had a solid run as a really good left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. But Mattingly, Murphy, Sheffield, start bench drop those guys. We'll have some a little bit later on.
Really
and,
quick,
I do know my starter. I do.
Yeah,
know my
you're going with Sheffield, right?
Correct.
You know what's funny? Yeah, your boy,
write in Bonds.
your boy. Yeah, you go. Patrick Reed. Anyway, so your favorite athlete of all time, Patrick Reed. Here's the interesting part of like Mattingly and Murphy. Murphy had like a 7 year heater, man. I'm looking at it right now, starting in 1982 and ending probably in 87. Murphy's numbers are filthy. I mean, absolutely filthy. He had 4 30 home run seasons, a 40 home run season, and a 29 home run season. 4 of those 5 years knocked in over 100 runs, stole double-digit bags, walked. Good God, Jay. He was walking 75 to 115 times a year. Batting average, slugging, on base, everything. I mean, if you could have taken that sample of his career and made it maybe a 12-year run, we're not even talking about him not being in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, I think some people say he only needed one more of those seasons.
Maybe. I mean, it's just,
then he would have been pushed well over 400 homers.
And that was the thing back then. Remember, 400 homers was a mark back in those days for Hall of Fame. Yeah.
And again, a 2-time Gold Glove. I mean, he was one of the best center fielders in the game, too, and could cover so much ground.
Phenomenal
center fielder. And you mentioned the steals, I mean, you would think a big, tall guy like that couldn't move, and he wasn't. You wouldn't say he was a speedster. He wasn't, but he was so tall, and he just controlled his body so well that whether it was on the bases or in the outfield, he was just he could glide is what he did, man. He kind of just across the outfield, especially, and had a strong arm. I mean, anyway, and I know I watched, Lord knows how many Atlanta Braves games with Dale Murphy, man.
Right.
But
I want to throw out the last thing though. Mattingly he didn't have as long a run as Murphy. Remember, Mattingly hurt his back and sapped his power. It just took his power away. Mattingly, it was like a 4-year run for Mattingly. And he had 3 years that were insane. 35, 31, 30 homers, drove in 145 runs in 1985. His slash numbers, his OPS numbers, well over 900 those 3 years. And then he hurt his back and everything went. He never hit more than 23 home runs again in a season. But if Mattingly doesn't hurt his back, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he was I remember watching him being an Oriole fan. Mattingly, you didn't want to see him come to the plate. And
right.
he was unstoppable in those 3 years. So, again, it's just a shame.
It is. It's and again, I get it. So, but don't get me wrong, man. In a month or so when they announce these, if Murph's not there, I'll be incredibly disappointed because I'm not sure if this is the last time for these guys. But I know it's getting close.
Oh, by the way, Mattingly in those 3 years averaged almost 50 doubles a season.
Yeah.
It's just sickening. And then he got hurt. And I'm bragging on a Yankee. You know how sickening that makes me?
Yeah,
to brag on a Yankee?
That's good for you, man, because I could not do that for a Met I could do it maybe for a couple of Phillies. Probably not any Mets. Although I did like Gary Carter, but I see him more as an Expo.
As an Expo. Good. See, that's your escape route for Carter.
Thank you.
Expo.
That's right.
All right, we got a little Jay or Nay coming up here next on the postgame show as we roll this baby up until 6. Don't forget 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. The South Carolina Gamecock men get it underway tonight at right across the street from here, CLA, right over there. At CLA against North Carolina Central. We'll come back to some Jay or Nay here on the postgame show. Jay and Kale and Terry here on the game.
Guys, when you don't feel like yourself as age creeps up on you, you start to wonder why. And then you think, it's probably no big deal. I'll just sit around and wait for it to go away. Nope, not how it works. Instead, what you need to do is take it head on. See Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the men's clinic. They'll sit down with you and ask about what's going on. And more importantly, perhaps, what's not going on. Do a little lab work, get some tests done for you, and then put together a plan that is just right for you, for your age, for your body type, get you back to feeling the way you want to. Don't be the guy that wants to tough it out. Don't be the guy that's embarrassed. Some of these things are not always easy to talk about. They know that at the men's clinic. They're experts in healthcare for men, dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. Call them up, 803-875-MENS, and you can learn more at themensclinicsc.com.
All right, go. All right, post-game show, some Jay or Nay here in just a second as we're getting Cale to move around the hotkeys, because Jay or Nay's not the same, Jay, without a little game show music. Keep going.
Oh, no, it's
Keep
not.
Going.
It's
Keep
not.
Going.
It's really, it's all about game show music.
Yeah, I mean, we only do this for game show music. I mean, what you say, no one's even paying attention to what you say. We're just here for game show music.
I'm not even paying attention to what I say.
I don't know what you say half the time. Yeah,
Listen,
absolutely.
when Elijah and I came up with it, really Elijah came up with this primarily. I give Elijah full credit. But I was like, hey, we need a segment that has game show music. And he's like, I got it. And here we are, all these months later.
So we have game show music, and we just talk to hear game show music.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I like that.
Cale, hit it.
You ready? Hit it, Cale. Well, Gong Show. Like the unknown. Now, you did watch some Gong Show as a youngin', right?
I did.
Now, what'd you like better, Gene, the dancing machine, Jay or Nay?
Yeah, Jay, he was great.
How about the unknown comic with the bag over his head?
The unknown comic was hilarious.
Is
Yeah,
it
the
bad
unknown
that I
comic was
don't
great.
know what the Gong Show is?
That's because you're 6 years old, Cale.
Okay.
Hey,
You let a 6-year-old behind the board.
I did because I was desperate. Radio doesn't pay like it used to. Anyway, did I say it out loud, Jay? Did I say it out loud? Wow. Anyway. No, you're doing fine work. Playing her. I remember sometimes that I'm the PD of this place. I got to watch what I say. Anyway, all right, Jay or Nay,
Wait,
you ready?
you are? What?
I know.
What?
It's scary. All right. Here are candidates for the Auburn job. You're now John Cohen, the athletic director at Auburn. Are you going to interview these candidates? I go down in order, Jay or Nay. Ready?
Okay, here we go. Yes.
Arizona head coach Kenny Dillingham.
Arizona State head
Arizona
coach.
State,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Arizona State.
Yeah. I mean, look, I like Kenny. If I'm Kenny, I'm not taking the job. But if I'm John Cohen, I want to talk to him. So Jay. Since the question is John Cohen interviewing, yeah, Jay.
If you're Kenny Dillingham, do you answer the phone, Jay or nay?
Nay.
Okay,
Nay.
there we go.
I just, yeah.
All right, this will be a fun little exercise. I just added something to it. Tulane head coach John Summerall.
Jay.
Okay, you're taking the call if you're John
Jay.
Summerall.
Yeah, I got a hunch, Terry Ford. I got a hunch that's going to be.
That's the guy. I think that's the guy. I don't disagree.
I think that's the guy.
All right, another one.
I do.
Memphis head coach Ryan Silverfield, Jay or nay? 29-6 over the past 3 years.
He's doing a great job. Yeah, Jay, I talked with him. I got a hunch. Because here's the thing, Auburn's going to swing for some bigger names first, even maybe ahead of Summerall. And I would say that a guy like Silverfield gets in only if there's a lot of people that, again, aren't picking up the phone, if you know what I mean.
I know, but here I'll say this. If you get to Silverfield, that makes Auburn look bad. No offense to Ryan Silverfield.
Right. I don't think he's not in their top five, I don't think. But I like what he's doing.
If you're Silverfield, do you take that phone call, Jay or nay?
Yes, Jay. Yeah. You have to.
Another
it's an
one.
SEC job.
Yes, another guy on this list, South Florida head coach Alex Golish, who has been phenomenal.
If I'm Alex Golish, again, if I'm John Cohen, I'm calling Alex Golish and seeing what he feels. If I'm Alex Golish, I'm not taking the Auburn job. I'm waiting. I'm waiting a little bit more.
Now
got it going nicely in a fertile recruiting ground. They're going to take care of me. They're doing some things at that school to beef up some facilities. I might wait that out a little bit.
I got two for you here. These are interesting, according to The Athletic. Former Penn State head coach James Franklin.
Yeah, Jay, and I think this is kind of where Auburn may be thinking they could go. And I think James Franklin would love the opportunity to go head-to-head with Alabama and Georgia because that's, again, who Auburn measures themselves against. To some degree, LSU certainly, or Tennessee or whatever, or even FSU out of conference in that area at least for recruiting. But as we talked about, Terry, the reason Auburn's in the boat they're in is because they measure themselves against two programs, and those programs right now are far better than Auburn. But the ceiling at Auburn is very high. I mean, we know that. You can win a national title at Auburn, and they'll give you the resources necessary, above and below board, if you know what I mean. They can do it. I think James Franklin would relish an opportunity like that.
See, this would be a fit to me, Franklin and Auburn, if they can get it together. Last one. Jay or nay, Jimbo Fisher.
I saw this yesterday, and, does Jimbo really want to coach again? Do you want to roll those dice again? I mean, what didn't work? If I'm John Cohen, if I'm interviewing Jimbo Fisher, and I think you probably should, the questions I have, not only for Jimbo, but for those around him in College Station, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I know.
How did you get this so wrong, considering what you got so right in Tallahassee? How did it go so wrong when you have all the resources necessary? What didn't happen? That's what I'd like to know, and what gets corrected. Because it can't be as simple as having a Heisman winner to go win a national title. Or, Terry, can it? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
He's a guy I would need to do a lot more investigating on if I'm going to make that phone call. Because
I probably wouldn't do that. I think Auburn. I think Summerall's your guy.
I think you try to get Franklin, and if you can't get Franklin, you get Summerall.
That sounds fair.
All right, my man.
You know what? I like Franklin to Virginia Tech a lot too.
There's a lot of smoke for that. Integrated Media, 5 o'clock news next on the Postgame Show.
Grip and Pools and Spas is ready to make you feel good. And this time of year, all right, it's not about the pool. If you have a heated pool, it's great, right? But what about a spa or a hot tub out back? You can come home to those almost any single day and feel absolutely fantastic. And right now, they've got spas for you from the great people at Bullfrog and Tropic Seas. Those Bullfrog spas, get in there. You can see both of them. They've got them in the showroom, right? But at Bullfrog, the possibilities for personalization are all over the place, and that's a good thing. You can personalize each and every seat to the exact type of jet that you want to hit those right spots when you're feeling a little tight, get those things loosened up. They've also got the capability for some Bluetooth speakers so that you can not only get relaxed, but listen to your favorite tunes while you're out there. Again, they've got these in the showroom right just steps away from the Lake Murray Dam at North Lake Drive, and you can always check them out online at griffinpoolsandspas.com.
All right, get our check on the traffic here right before the 5 o'clock hour on the post-game show. We got too many accidents to get to. We do have one cleared, though. West Columbia, that accident, I-26 eastbound at Airport Boulevard, exit 113, cleared. That's the good news. Now let's get to the rest of this. All right, US 176 Broad River Road near Greystone Boulevard and River Hill Circle, we have an accident. Spear Creek Church Road at I-20. Patricia Road at Leesburg Road, also North Lake Drive near Corley Mill Road. Meeting Street near 12th Street, also, that's in West Columbia. Augusta Road near I-20 in Lexington, and stop-and-go traffic, I-26 westbound between Sunset Boulevard and St. Andrews Road. That's between exits 110 and 106. Integrated Media, 5 o'clock news. Women's basketball got it going last night in the NFL. There's some trading going on at the deadline. That's coming up. All right, time to jump into the 5 o'clock news sponsored by our buds at Integrated Media. Let's jump right into it. Going to our news desk with our correspondent. Now, is it going to be a big my first thought was just one of those fake news desks you can pick up and sit in front of you and then pick it up and move it, something something you would buy back at the Kmart in 92.
Yeah, we probably should do something like that. I mean, I suppose even if here's the thing. Maybe I know they specialize in fences, but maybe we have Ryan Brewer Fence build us. I mean, they let's face it, they build with wood.
Yeah.
We could get them to build us a desk. I think Ryan's people they're brilliant at what they do. I got a hunch, Tare, that they could, from a carpentry standpoint, they could utilize their skills and build us a rather magnificent news desk.
Hey, you know
So
what'd be cool? We could have
touch on that.
We could have built by Ryan Brewer fence on it, and he could get all that free advertisement that he. Just saying.
I like where your
just
head is.
Throwing it out there,
I like
man.
where your head is.
So we can get that. We can get that set with the nice little lightweight thing. You can just throw it. Like as soon as you're done, you just pick it up and throw it, and you get back on the.
Well, I think
show.
we could get some hinges on it. I mean, like they would for a gate. They got hinges because they build gates. And again, we're on to something. Yeah. We're on to something.
Look at us. Look at us.
Yeah,
we're smart or something.
We're going to get there. I look forward to this.
All right,
I got to have goals,
desk.
right?
Well, right now you're not at the news desk. You're wherever the hell you are.
I'm at a big
you're
gaming
at.
table in my game room at my house. Yes, with all kinds of stuff surrounding me right now.
Boston album and everything else. Here's Jay Phillips with the 5 o'clock
That's
news,
right.
sponsored by
Thank you,
Integrated
sir.
Media.
We'll start with the number 2 Gamecock women's basketball team winning their debut last night. South Carolina beat Grand Canyon by a final score of 94-54. So they obviously go 1-0 on the year. Dawn Staley had a lot to say last night. We'll start because, of course, there's between some injuries, departures, and incoming players through the portal and high school. Dawn talked a lot about getting the chemistry together with a new group.
I mean, there's, in a team in which we got 4 new players, we got total 7 players who haven't played, a whole lot of minutes for us. I mean, it's good to have that instant chemistry from them playing high school and AAU together. So that's something that we can bank. We just have to start connecting. Just have a connection out there. 4 new starters, so it's just going to take a little bit of time for us to create the chemistry that we need to be better, especially defensively, because we got a lot of work. It's a lot different than what we used to, so we just have to figure it out. And we're in the season now, so games are going to have to be that. And it's not our normal way of doing things, but it's the cards that we've been dealt.
So there you go. And again, they didn't necessarily anticipate being down a couple of players. Certainly Chloe Kitts. You knew Ashlyn Watkins was going to take the year off to really get herself completely rehabbed. But with Chloe going down just a few weeks back, that certainly was a blow. Nevertheless, here they are. Gamecocks will take on Bowling Green coming up in a couple of days before they host Clemson in a week's time. Dawn also last night mentioned, again, this is the hallmark of what they do, right? Playing defense. How did she feel about game 1 on that side of the ball?
I think in the beginning our ball screen defense was a little cleaner than it was when we played UNC, and then they made adjustments, and then we couldn't quite keep the same discipline, and then when we're switching when we're not supposed to switch, and we're point switching, and I don't even know where they got that from. Like, I really don't know where they got let's switch. Like, it's not been a part of who we've been. Again, though, other people come in with habits, and if that's what they do, they don't even do that in practice. Like it was new to see that, and it was not just one. It was like our starting guards did it. They all did it at certain times. They would leave their player and go rebound, and it was like really undisciplined basketball that we have to clean up. Luckily we could put points on the scoreboard. I do like the fact that we could put points on the scoreboard, but we can't rely on scoring 90 points every game.
Hey, can I jump in here real quick, Jay?
Please.
All right, if you just look at a box score and didn't hear that piece of sound, you would say, wow, Dawn's team, they scored a ton of points, shot almost 60% from the floor, 47% from 3, out-rebounded, Grand Canyon. You look at Grand Canyon's side of the box score. Grand Canyon shot 27% from the floor, 20% from 3. You would go, Dawn's team locked them up on D. But you heard Dawn, this was nothing about shooting percentages. This was about other little minutia things on defense that regular schmoes like us don't pay attention to, like in a box score. But Dawn's like, oh, we got a lot. We're undisciplined. We got stuff to fix. We're switching, doing this, doing that. We shouldn't be doing any of that mess. So you hear the coach talking about the defensive things that might not matter against Grand Canyon, but they're going to matter later when these games really ratchet up against the UConns or the Southern Cals or whoever you're going to take on the LSUs. There are things that South Carolina did last night on defense that is unacceptable to Ms. Staley. They got to fix it.
And I like just like you did, I kind of chuckled when I heard her and then they just started switching. And we didn't tell them to do that. And they hadn't even done it before. I'm picturing Dawn looking down the bench at the staff and at the other ladies on the team going, what the hell?
Ready?
What do we?
Did you tell them to do that?
What are y'all What is anybody? What do we? I'm just because I can see that look that Dawn gets, right? Of what are we? What is this?
Absolutely. And I love what you said this, Jay. We didn't even do that in practice. We
don't do it in practice. They just out of nowhere, they just decided we're going to do something different.
It's like they got together. They got together and said, why don't we start doing some switching and see what coach says?
But all 5 starters scored in double figures last night. Newcomer Tanaya Lotson led the way with 20 points. Mm-hmm. She had 4 assists as well last night. Raven Johnson, 11 points. 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 67%. Mm-hmm.
She was making threes last night, too. She nailed, I think, 3 of them in the first half.
She made 3. She made 3.
She had a goal.
So did Tessa. Tessa made 3 last night as well. Tessa had 5 boards, 3 assists, and a steal as well. But, again, that line from Raven, 8 boards, 7 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 67%. Dawn Staley's like, that's my point guard.
I'm going to tell you this.
That's
you're going to have to deal with that backcourt. That backcourt's got some stuff going on there with Latson, Johnson, and Johnson. They're going to be tough. There's no doubt.
Yeah, that's a good law firm name too. I like it. Well done, Ford. We'll talk men. The men have NCA&T tonight to start their season, and our good friend Derek Scott will be our feature on the Gamecock Notebook coming up in just a few minutes' time. So make sure you keep it here as we get ready for Carolina hoops here in a Gamecock football off week. Meanwhile, the NFL trade deadline is now over. Some of the biggest ones. Rashid Shaheed has been sent from the Saints to the Seahawks. The big one today, Terry, Sauce Gardner, he of the $100 million contract coming from the Jets to the Colts. The Colts are getting a little heat for this one because of how much money they're picking up on this, because the way the contract, I read about this earlier, the way the contract is structured, the Jets had a very small amount that they had to pay up front, and most of the total amount of this contract is kind of backloaded with some bonuses and incentives and things like that. I think this is a statement from the Colts to say we have a great offense, and now we want to add a guy who is one of the premier corners in the game. Again, the contract speaks for itself. But we'll find out if what this does to the Colts in terms of kind of hamstringing them moving forward with a couple of big deals. But otherwise, I think this is the biggest trade of the day.
Look, here's the thing, and you nailed it. 2 things are happening here. Remember, the Jets have a new regime. Sauce Gardner. They signed Sauce Gardner in the offseason, this big contract. And you're right. It's kind of like cap stuff all over the place, right? It's not cut and dry how the contract's laid out. And the Jets they want to blow it up now. They're trying to pull a ton of draft capital. They trade Quentin Williams, their defensive tackle, to Dallas today for more picks. I think they got like a second, I think a third rounder for 26 and a first rounder for 27. They got a couple of first rounders for Sauce. The Jets said we suck and we got to start over, right? That's what you're saying. We're terrible. Yeah. Let's hoard a ton of draft capital and let's do this thing. Maybe we can do it right. Look, I get it. I'm not saying they're wrong, because if I'm the Jets, you got to do something, because what you've been doing is horrifically embarrassing. Unfortunately, they can't trade the owner. Here's the thing. It's great to acquire all this draft capital, Jay, but you got to do with it?
Yeah, go win games.
Don't screw it up when you're drafting, right? Draft the right guys. So we'll see. And you nailed the Colts. The Colts, look, let's be honest here. If you came to Chris Ballard, the GM, and Coach Stryken in the offseason and gave them the Falker Truth Serum and said, you guys have one of the best records in football, do you believe we're telling you the truth? They would giggle and go, seriously, how drunk are you? They didn't see this coming. They're in a great position to do damage in a very weird AFC, right? you go get a guy who, when engaged, is one of the best corners in the game.
Yeah.
When engaged. You can re-engage this guy in a playoff run, right?
Yeah.
And so you get him in there, you re-engage him, and he's phenomenal when he's locked in, and you'll deal with the cap ramifications later because, coming into this year, you were looked at as an organization that's kind of soiled itself because you can't get a quarterback and you've ruined all your windows, right? Well, their window reopened, Jay. So they're like,
it did, but I mean, how quickly are they closing? Because again, Sauce Gardner is awesome, but you've given up the next 2 first-round picks to get him. I mean, he better be that good for you.
Well, he's got to be.
You're paying him the bulk of his $120 million contract. In fact, I just looked at it. The Jets basically paid $14 million. And everything else is going to be on the Colts.
This is a team that's saying we're going for it right now and to hell with everything else. I mean, that's what they're saying to you. They're saying this offense is cooking. Defensively, we can get when engaged, one of the best cover corners in the game. We think we can re-engage him with a playoff run in a new organization and a new culture. You don't care about next year, Jay. That's what the Colts are telling you. We'll deal with this later. We're going for it right now because we the football gods smiled on us this year, right? We're going to run with it, and we'll deal with all of this in the offseason. And plus, remember, Stryken and Ballard, there was some talk of hot seats coming into this year in Indy.
Yeah.
So if you can win 13 or 14 games and do some damage in the playoffs, guess what you don't have under your butt anymore, Jay, at least temporarily.
Well, and even though the Colts are still owned by the Irsays, now it's Jim Irsay's daughters who are sort of running the team together, and so there is a new, at least, attitude and approach to what they're doing. So I can, but it's a bold move by the Colts to give up 2 first-round picks. Again, the money's one thing. First-round picks are gold in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And so that's just that's a
doesn't
big,
it feel like
that's a
this,
big roll of the dice.
and we'll move off this, but doesn't it feel like, Ballard, the biggest problem has been the quarterback position. But Ballard has been a guy that has always gone down the road of draft capital. So for him to 180, I just feel like they're in a spot as an organization. They want to go all in. They feel like they got to go all in right now. And like I said, what future? The future is today, and we're going for a run in a very kooky AFC, and we're going to see what we can do. That's just how it feels like to me, man.
It does. So there you go.
We'll see.
The deadline has passed. Find out what your favorite team may have done. But that Sauce Gardner one is pretty much the biggest one.
It's so interesting, isn't it, man? On both sides, this trade's very interesting.
It is, no doubt. That's our integrated media headlines of the day. We'll come back on the other side. The voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, will join us ahead of the opener for the Carolina men's basketball team. Another new look for Lamont Paris. How does Derek see it shaping up? We'll find out next.
Oh, time for our Gamecock notebook. Of course, it's an old leather notebook that Jay stole from the bookstore back when he was at South Carolina. And as we open the name on page, what page is the name Derek Scott on in the Gamecock notebook?
Well, tonight it's on number 1.
That's right,
It's
Derek
there at the top.
Scott. Get him in here, voice of the Gamecocks tonight with Judge Manning. We're getting it rolling against North Carolina Central, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. How you doing, Bob?
Well, you know, you spoke of old and weathered, and then you referenced Casey, so I guess we're off to a good start.
And another season is off and rolling.
Yes,
There
ding,
it is.
ding.
Yes, indeed.
There it is.
Feel the love.
There it is.
Hey, you know,
How you guys doing?
Oh, doing all right, man. Good talking with you. You know, I listened to you guys do the exhibition game against NC State, and I didn't get to watch it, and you were sitting courtside. All I know is this. It sounded like it was a lot of fun, and Carolina was scoring a lot of points and making a lot of shots. And I know obviously getting to the season, you know, and things are different from an exhibition game. How much of what you saw in that exhibition game, Derek, do you expect that we're going to see once this thing gets rolling tonight and moving forward?
Well, I mean, you take a lot from a performance against NC State because that's it's an ACC program that's picked in the top 5 in the league, depending on which polls you tend to trust. And we're not going to see any sort of opponent for the next few weeks that is anywhere close to that in terms of their stature. Doesn't mean you won't run into a team that plays better. Doesn't mean South Carolina will shoot it that well every night. But I thought that was very encouraging. I mean, 86 points. We only topped that once all last season, and we didn't shoot a better field goal percentage at any point last season than what we shot on Sunday. So I was very encouraged because, Will Wade, say what you will about him and how he goes about his business, but the guy can coach. And, I felt like that was a really encouraging first glimpse at this roster.
You know, Derek, in the not-too-distant past, we just said, my goodness, look at all these newcomers. How in the world do you get this all put together? But that's the norm now for so many college basketball programs. So I'm curious, from your perspective, to take us through what you've seen in terms of how Lamont and the staff try to blend these guys together, A, and then B, in terms of some of the scoring and things that you saw in that exhibition, how different might the style of play be because of the personnel they're bringing in and utilizing?
Yeah, it'll be drastically different because your strength this year is clearly on the perimeter. You've got a lot of guys who can score for you, a lot of guys who can make threes, and that was, of course, the opposite scenario last year when, I think we got the double figures in threes 2-3 times all year, and we had 12 on Sunday. I think the approach to offense will be different. And then defensively, you don't have an ace in the hole like Colin there anymore. So you've got to figure out a better team defensive approach. And you talk about, the new roster. I still think as much as coaches are used to dealing with this now, I do still think the early portion of the season is still trial and error. You're figuring out what pieces work well together. Games are different than practice. And real games are different than scrimmages. So already tonight, for instance, as opposed to the way they were lined up in the exhibition game, you're going to see Miles Studi moving into more of a if you call the positions 1 through 5, with 1 being the point guard and 5 being the old-fashioned center, you're going to see Miles in more of a 4 role tonight than he has been ever, and they're going to get use that opportunity to get another good defender on the court in Kobe Knox. And so there's still going to be a lot of that, I think, early on in the season, figuring out combinations. But I think it's pretty safe to say it will look different in terms of the style of play, maybe in terms of the success at approaching the game and the way Lamont wants to approach it this year over last.
Voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, hanging out with us, of course. The men get going tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip at CLA versus North Carolina Central here on the postgame show. All right, one thing I heard when I was listening to you guys do the game, that freshman Eli Ellis didn't seem like he was very jittery, Derek.
No, I don't suppose that's a guy who knows what jitters look like. He's got swagger, he's got confidence, and he's got that permit chip on his shoulder. He feels like he's got to prove it all the time. And I don't know this. I wanted to talk to him about it, and I haven't had a chance. I wanted to know if he felt a little extra motivation against a home state school. I wanted to know the background of, was NC State in on the recruiting process? Was that special motivation, or was that just Eli playing the competitive style that he's going to play most nights? And we're all going to have a lot of fun exploring that and finding it out, because that's a guy who brings it. And today at shoot-around, while Lamont and I were sitting courtside recording the pregame interview for our pregame show here in a little bit, Eli was the last guy on the court getting up shots. And it's entertaining to watch him just bury jumper after jumper. He is the guy that he's not limited to only scoring on three-pointers, but that's certainly a part of his game that will be hard for folks to deny night to night.
Talking with our good friend, the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, Carolina and NCA&T. Get the season going tonight at 6:30 airtime here on the station. Tell us a little bit more about Mike Sharvyamps. I hope I'm saying the last name right. I think I am. But this kid seems to really have some things going for him that might surprise some people. He's played at a big school at Utah, so he's bringing those skills to Columbia now. What have you seen from him, and what can we begin to expect?
A lot of versatility. He is more athletic than you might imagine. He's got some springs now. He can really get up. He's already 6'9", so he doesn't have to jump that far to get to the rim. But he's a guy that he's got the combination of the athleticism, the experience of having played 3 years of Division I basketball at a variety of different locations and levels. And he can handle and make decisions with the basketball. So he can really do a lot of different stuff. He's much more, even though he's 6'9", he's a perimeter player. And he really didn't play nearly as well Sunday against NC State as he's looked in practices and scrimmages that I've been to. So there's a lot more in there than what we saw on Sunday. I don't think 5 points and 3 rebounds is what we should expect from him. And honestly, if you worry about things like plus minus, how the team fares while you're on the court, we were minus 15 with him on the court, and I don't think that's indicative of what his contributions can be or even were that particular night. He didn't have a great performance, so I'm anxious to see how he responds tonight, because like I said, every time I go to practice, he stands out for positive reasons, not for negative reasons. And he's another guy who really is going to be for Lamont an interesting chess piece in figuring out how he wants to use him and where he fits in the offensive scheme of things, because he can do a lot for you in spite of having that longer frame.
Hey, Derek, in our last minute and a half, what's your biggest question mark as you watch this team evolve into what we're going to see tonight?
What you can expect defensively on the interior, because this is not a team that has a bunch of really physical guys. And once you get to the SEC play, that'll be a bigger question. But even tonight, I think the one thing in talking to coaches that know the A&T coach pretty well and know that roster a little bit as well as you can know any roster this time of year with the portal doing what it does, this team's not going to come in here and look like they're overwhelmed from a size standpoint. They've got some bigs, and they've got some experienced bigs. They've got some old dudes who have played other places. They got a guy who's 6'9", 240 who transferred in from Cleveland State, and I know they really like him. They got a big Greek guy who's 6'11" and 225. I just think that not just tonight but throughout the season, that's going to be the question, is how does South Carolina protect the rim between Jordan Butler and Kreese DeSandico? What can those guys give you in the post? Because that is, to me, the biggest question for sure.
6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. Derek, Judge Manning on the call as we get the 2025, 2026 version of the Gamecocks men rolling against North Carolina Central. Appreciate you, man. We'll be listening to you tonight.
Thanks, Derek.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, we'll see you, bud. All right, we'll jump back in here. Our drive around the SEC live from Greg Sankey's living room with our buddy Jay Phillips. That is next here on the Postgame Show on the Game.
Yes, sir. Had a good time at the U.S. Brick Exterior Design Center a few weeks back. If you have yet to stop in and see it, then you need to get over there. It's the first of its kind in Columbia, and it's created to make your selections simple. It's not only a place for you to really see and feel brick and stone and what it could look like on your home or as your home, but it features a full patio, outdoor fireplace built with products that are supplied by U.S. Brick. It really is a one-stop shop, and you can come in, look, come with your family, come with your designer, come with your contractor, come with your architect, and see these things. Get an idea. Builders, architects, you're welcome to use the showroom for your own needs as well, and homeowners and self-builders, whether you're building new, updating a home, designing outdoor living space or features, they're ready to help you out. 300 UG Street is where they are, and you can always learn more when you log on to usbrick.com.
Time to see what's going on the roads in the Midlands. We'll start off accidents. US 176 Broad River Road near Greystone Boulevard, River Hill Circle. Also Spear Creek Church Road at I-20. Meeting Street near 12th Street in West Columbia. Lower Richland Boulevard near Garner's Ferry Road. Also Colonial Drive at Lorick Avenue, Augusta Road near I-20. All right, let's get a look at what's going on with the roads here in the 5 o'clock hour on the Game Network. All right, we have some accidents in Lexington, Augusta Road near I-20, West Columbia Meeting Street near 12th Street, Colonial Park, Colonial Drive at Lorick Avenue, in Richland, Lower Richland Boulevard near Garner's Ferry, also Spear Creek Church Road at I-20, and US 176 Broad River Road near Greystone Boulevard, River Hill Circle. Get back in here. Our drive around the SEC is next on the postgame show. All right, live from Greg Sankey's living room. Time to get a drive around the SEC with our correspondent, Jay Phillips.
Yeah, not quite Greg Sankey's living room. It's probably nicer than mine, but I've never been there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Greg Sankey's being around Sankey the last couple years, we're at SEC Media Days and stuff like that. Yeah. I think his entire house is in alphabetical order.
Maybe
you know what I'm saying?
He's very put together. I'll give you that.
He's that guy. He's that guy. If he walks out of the living room, and you take that not ashtray, but like some little ornament on his coffee table. If you move it to the left 1 centimeter, he'll walk back in and say, "You guys want something to drink?" Who moved that?
Yeah.
Who moved that?
You may be right.
Just saying.
You may well be right.
Just saying.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
maybe so.
I went out with a girl like that once. I used to rearrange her kitchen all the time and drive her crazy.
I believe you. You did. That's called gaslighting. Very nice.
Terry, is there a specific reason why you did that?
Yeah, just because it was fun. It was just fun. I was there to entertain me.
Hey,
just wait till
that makes sense.
Just wait till it backfires, man.
Oh, it has already since then. That was a long time ago, Jay. The female population has gotten even with me since then. Trust me.
I believe you.
Trust me.
I believe you.
All right, what's going on? What's happening?
So we have 4 openings for head coaches in the Southeastern Conference, at least from a football perspective. We could have a 5th. I just, again, I don't think a 10-3 win against a bad Auburn team is going to be enough to salvage Mark Stoops' career at UK, but we shall see. We could have other openings, but the premier one is LSU. And here's a quote, and some of you may have already seen this. I'll tell you who said it after I read the quote. I heard through the grapevine that LSU, were having conversations with Nick Saban. That'd be awesome if we can bring Nick back. Now, Terry, before I tell the audience, do you already know who said this?
I have not seen this quote yet today. I'm going to go with Governor Landry.
No, somebody even bigger, literally and figuratively, Shaquille O'Neal in an interview with that great sports publication, Us Weekly. has said that they're talking to Nick Saban, or that he heard through the grapevine.
Jay, as you brought up Shaquille O'Neal, Terry just tried to shoot a piece of paper into the trash can across the studio, and it looked like he airballed it.
Missed miserably.
Well, that's okay. I miss those all the time.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, here's the thing. Do you call Nick Saban? Sure.
Sure, why not?
Sure. Mm-hmm. The thing is, Nick is 74 now. Mm-hmm. He's doing a great job on television. He's basically become the new Lee Corso, which is not an easy role to fill, and he's not going to be quite the same as Coach Corso was, obviously. But that's his role now. I can't possibly imagine that the way he reveres his wife, Miss Terry, that she is going to say, "Sure, Nick, go back and coach LSU," because that'll be fun and easy for you.
Right.
So again, do you call him? Sure. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can call whoever you want to call.
Yeah.
But
it's not happening.
Shaq, right?
It's Shaq.
It's Shaq saying these things, and so people are gonna put some stock into it because he's another LSU legend. Okay. But I don't see that one.
I'm gonna go on a limb. Nick Saban will not be the head coach at LSU. Go crazy. I'm gonna get kooky here. I don't think that's going to happen.
So here's something that does add a little more fuel. This is a quote from Nick Saban when asked about returning to coaching, not at LSU per se, just in general. Mm-hmm. Quote, "You've got all these external factors that are constantly changing, whether it's the transfer portal, how much you can pay guys, revenue sharing, what kind of collective you have. So traditionally, how have you been able to adapt to that? Some of the traditional jobs, like LSU, that people always looked at as one of the best jobs, have they adapted to all these things like they need to continue to be one of the best jobs in the country?" And that has people, Terry, going, well, see? What he's basically saying is, hey, LSU, if you do all the right things, I'll come back. It's my personal opinion that Nick Saban did what he did at LSU and then got the heck out of Dodge.
I don't disagree with that. Hey, let me throw this at you, a couple things really quick. A, why did Nick leave? He didn't want to put up with the new world. He didn't want to put up with NIL. He didn't want to put up with transfer portals.
Leave Alabama, you mean, right?
Yeah, leave Alabama. He didn't want to deal with all that. I remember, what was it? It was the week of the college football playoff, his last season, and players were walking in that week asking for more money. That's
Right.
when Nick was done, is what the rumors are. Nick was like, I can't do this. These guys, I can't do this. So, first of all, he left because, now, has the atmosphere changed, Jay?
A little,
It's still basically the same thing.
No, it hasn't.
And then, let's think about that. And then B, has Nick not seen what's been going on in the state of Louisiana in the last week or two?
And that's what I mean. I think Nick did that 21 years ago.
Yeah.
I think he's like, man, I am not doing this.
Nope.
I don't want. Look, I did what they needed me to do here. I'm out. I am not putting up with this.
Right. Absolutely.
So why would you go back into it now when it's likely worse?
Yeah.
So there's that.
100%.
Basketball got underway last night across the Southeastern Conference. Auburn went to overtime with Bethune-Cookman before finally prevailing in that one, 95-90. Terry, it's a win, but should Auburn fans be concerned that the Stephen Pearl era is off to an interesting start, or no big deal?
Well, okay. Let me ask you this. If Stevens' last name was Phillips, Ford,
He doesn't have the
Wilson,
job.
is he the head coach at Auburn?
No, he's not.
No. So am I concerned is a little too far to go, but do I have an eyebrow up right now and looking at this saying, what the hell was that? Yeah, I am, because I don't know how qualified Stephen Pearl is to coach my rec league team or coach my kid or coach me how to shoot paper into a basket in the office. I don't know how qualified he is. And now he just took over the Auburn program just because his last name's Pearl. So I think there is some skepticism, let's see where this goes. And last night didn't help you if you were a little queasy to begin with, right? I mean, no offense. It was Bethune-Cookman, dude.
Right.
So we'll see where it goes. But, yeah, I would be keeping an eyebrow up if I were an Auburn fan at this point, one game in. Yep.
National champ Gators lost to Arizona last night in Vegas, 93-87. Thomas Hall led the way for UF with 27 points. Alex Condon had 11. But Koa Pete is a newcomer to the Arizona team. He scored 30 points last night. Also had 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. I'm not going to sit here and call this an upset. I saw one headline. I didn't even read it. That said Florida has a lot of questions to answer. I'm like, come on, bro.
Stop.
It's one, and it's
One
Arizona.
game. Yeah.
It's Arizona. It's not like it's some chump basketball
Right.
program. It's Arizona.
Did you guys see the 2 dunks he had last night?
Yeah, I mean,
Those were
Pete,
insane.
Koa Pete was a highly recruited player out of high school. He's an Arizona kid. So him having, again, did I think he'd go for 37 and 5? No, but he can play. So, in Arizona, like you said, Arizona's Arizona, man.
It's Arizona.
Yeah, it's Arizona.
All this Florida's in trouble. Florida's not in trouble. They lost to Arizona.
Yeah,
Sometimes you lose.
They didn't.
Everybody else,
Cookman,
right. Everybody else won rather comfortably in the SEC last night. So I'll just give you, I'm not going to give you a score. Arkansas beat Southern Alabama over North Dakota. Tennessee beat Mercer. Missouri won over Howard. Georgia beat Bellarmine. A&M over Northwestern State. Vandy all over Lipscomb. Ole Miss beat Southeast Louisiana. And Oklahoma beat St. Francis. Poor old St. Francis all by himself there.
that poor guy.
Tonight,
Was he wearing the big St. Francis robe and everything?
Yep, you got the robe and everything.
See, how can you move when you're wearing that thing?
You
right?
can't.
Come on.
Tonight, Kentucky hosts Nichols, formerly Nichols State, now just Nichols. Duke and Texas will play each other up in Charlotte. That should be a good one. And South Carolina, of course, has NC-A&T. And again, a reminder that Derek Scott and Judge Casey Manning will be on the call coming up here in about 45 minutes. That's our drive around the SEC, brought to you by Herndon Chevy. We'll wrap up Start Bench Drop and Jay versus the Internet on the other side.
We'll get to Jay versus the internet here in just a minute. But first, we got to get our start. We got to get our start bench drop taken care of. All right, go for it. Reset that, and where are you going, man?
Yeah, so start bench drop today was 3 of the 8 guys named on the contemporary ballot, if you will, for the Baseball Hall of Fame. It was announced yesterday. The 8, real quick, are Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, Fernando Valenzuela. I chose 3 for our start bench drop. Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, and Gary Sheffield. Before I give you mine, and again, mine's going to be controversial.
Yeah.
Randy says, start Dale Murphy. The others don't matter. Murph should have been in the Hall years ago. Thomas says, start Dale Murphy, bench Don Mattingly, drop Gary Sheffield, mainly because his attitude sucked. Albert says, start Murphy, bench Mattingly, drop Sheffield. And he gives us a few others that should be in the Hall, including Andrew Jones, Keith Hernandez, Darryl Strawberry, and a few others. Steven says, I'm sure my start will not surprise you. Dale Murphy, bench Don Mattingly, and reluctantly, he says, cut Gary Sheffield. So thanks to all of you. I didn't get to all of them, but thanks to everybody because I got limited time here. Terry, again, I struggled with this one. I struggled mightily.
I know with the start. The start had to be a tough one for you.
But I'm going to start Gary Sheffield. No, I'm going to start Dale Murphy. Look, I'll be very subjective about this, despite my supposed objectivity. I think Murph should be in. I also will never hide the fact that Dale Murphy is my favorite baseball player of all time, and always will be. No one will ever surpass him. But I think Murph, again, 2-time All-Star, 5-time, 7-time two-time MVP, 7-time All-Star, 5-time. Gold Glove. I mean, the dude was amazing, man. He just, home run champ twice, RBI champ twice. One of the more feared hitters of the 80s. He should be in. I will bench Don Mattingly, and on this one I will drop Gary Sheffield. Okay, so that's where I am.
I mean, I'm dropping Murphy. I'm enough of this love. I'm getting sick to my stomach. No, I am. This honestly, really quick. I know we don't have a lot of time with it. This one was tough because you can make cases for all these guys in certain ways to start, bench, or drop in a lot of instances. I'm going to drop Mattingly because, it was only a 3-year level of eliteness before and again, the back injury sapped his power, right? So I'm going to drop Mattingly because of that, even though, Mattingly was an excellent defensive first baseman. But and then the sideburn thing. Come on, man. So I'll drop Mattingly. I had a real tough time where I was going because Sheffield. Look, no offense to Murphy or Mattingly, Sheffield was a better hitter than both for a longer period of time. Sheffield was phenomenal offensively. I mean, he didn't take a glove to the game. He was a disaster on defense. But he was a hell of an offensive player. But he does have a ding, right? Believe what you want about off the field with Sheffield. There was smoke. I'll start Murphy because Murphy's the best all-around player of the 3. Because he was so good defensively. Obviously, offensively, he did damage for that 7-year period. And for a big dude, he could steal bags. And he had that cool mole on his face. So I'm going to start Murphy. I will bench Sheffield, and I will drop Mattingly. So there you go, sir.
There you go.
That's where I'm going.
I hope he makes it, man. I genuinely do. I hope he makes it. I don't know how these particular voters look at it. The Contemporary Baseball Era Players Committee. That's who's looking at it. I don't know who's on it. I'll figure all that out later. But hopefully they put Murph in. That's all I care about. All right, let's do it.
All right, let's hit the music there, Kale.
Oh, yeah, I'm like a DJ now.
Look at DJ. What would be your... Now, we don't have enough time to make up a DJ name. Okay.
We'll come up with one.
Last night, you were an embarrassment. You missed everything last night.
Well, so are the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys' fault, not mine.
By the way, did we not call this... They are the greatest reverse lock in the NFL. If you think they're going to win, they lose. If you think they're going to lose, they win. That's the Cowboys. Yeah. And they're 3-5, to the shock of no one. All right, Cardinals beat the Cowboys last night. Dak Prescott didn't get to 260. I think we had it on pass on the over-under passing yards. Cardinals covered, and they won, and it went to the under. Okay, so today, sir, here we go. We'll start off with some college football. Maction, baby. 0-8 UMass goes to 3-6 Akron. Akron is 12.5-point favorites. Where are you going?
Akron. I mean,
All right.
UMass is like UConn. Why do you have a football team?
Hey, didn't I forgot the caller's name, but didn't he talk to you and basically keep
Barry.
the receipts
No,
on
Barry
the
was
UConn
mad at me.
Got
Yeah, Barry was
football
mad at me.
team?
Disrespected
I love-
UConn.
6-3. Go Huskies.
I love
That's
Barry,
right.
but Barry was mad at me.
Disrespected UConn. Okay, Ohio's at home, hosting Miami of Ohio. Ohio 5-3, Miami of Ohio 5-3. Ohio 2.5-point favorites.
Oh.
At home.
Give me Miami on the road plus the points.
Okay, and finally, college basketball. You brought it up earlier in Texas and Duke. Duke's number 6 in the country. Texas, new coach in Sean Miller. Duke is giving Texas 10.5.
Wow. You know what? I expect John Shire to have Duke come out and make a statement. So give me. I'll take Duke minus those points.
All right, good deal. So you got some action, and you got Duke covering the 10.5 against Sean Miller's Texas Longhorns. All right, good
There you
deal,
go.
bud. Good deal.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank our buddy
Action's the
Ryan
best time
Brewer
of the year.
today. Derek Scott. Kale did a nice job, kept us on the air. Jay, what are you going to steal out of Greg Sankey's house before you leave?
I'll show you tomorrow. I don't know yet.
Good deal.
It's a nice
Post-game
house.
show. Good work, my friend. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yep.